weekday. Don't be surprised, don't be surprised. Walk like us. They even talk like us. Walk, walk, walk like us. But they are not like us. On the weekday, you can see the signs, you can see the signs. They wear the disguise. Look into the mind's eye. There's nowhere to hide. Don't stick all the lies. Whispers from afar. We know who you are. Windows to the stars. Walk like us. They even talk like us. Walk, walk, walk like us. But they are not like us. On the weekday, you can see the signs, you can see the signs. But don't be surprised on the weekday. Read between the lines, read between the lines. They wear the disguise. Look into the mind's eye. There's nowhere to hide. Don't stick all the lies. Whispers from afar. We know who you are. Windows to the stars.
In a world. A little bit of a shoddy beginning. But alright, let's get it. The long awaited Clones stream. It is Clones episode 1. Because we did do a part 1 back in the day, but it was crazy. Really, really bad service, I guess, and I don't know if the stream was getting attacked or what, but it was really bad. Not gonna cut it, so some of that stuff will be recovered just where it's coherent. And there's a few new things in here as well. And I hope you guys enjoy. So I know that it sounds crazy, the idea of clones. I thought it was ridiculous. It's one of the conspiracy theories I just thought was just insane. And I was like, you know, how could you ever prove such a thing anyway? But nevertheless, I looked into it, and it's a little deeper than it may seem on the surface. So I am going to present it not as though I'm claiming to know, but just so that everyone can maybe see what's going on. This is the epitome of some gravy right here. All right, so if you heard, that was They Live by B.O.B. for the intro, and that's what that song is talking about. They live among you, just like the movie They Live. And they walk like us, they talk like us, but they are not like us. If you look closely, you can see the signs. Okay, so first I'm going to play my little trailer so we can get the general premise, because I saw someone ask, what's the premise? Let's get it. right, so I'm trying to get this other video to send. I don't know why it didn't work. Maybe it'll work right here. I have another video. This is the one that Kai put together a while back. We were looking into this. It gets really crazy. So basically, we know there's something called MK Ultra, just like it's mentioned there. Then there's the general idea of something called cloning, of course, as in replication. And then there is something else that many people may not have heard of. The idea of something like synthetics. Organic robotoids is one of the terminology used. All right, let me save this video. Okay, so we're gonna play this other one that Kai made. It's pretty good to show you some of the little like hints in propaganda that seem to exist regarding this. Oh yeah. It's pretty crazy. So this is everywhere. Everyone's seen lots of movies about it. I saw someone say something about Star Wars. There's a Bruce Willis movie. So there's obviously movies about it, but it's a crazy idea, right? So I mean, you'd make movies about all kinds of crazy ideas. That doesn't mean that it's real. Obviously, just because something's in a movie doesn't mean it's real. And I mean, just look at Gravity and Interstellar, right? So no one is saying that, of course, but we do know that there's lies in the news and truth in the movies, and this seems to be a very real sentiment. Let me find it here. Okay, here it is. How dare you? And let's check it out. I don't know why there isn't sound. Gamma Stress Relief Fund. Thank you very much for the super chat. The Whirlwind Music. Much love. I don't know why that's gonna kind of get on my nerves though. Yeah, I don't know. There's not any sound on here for whatever reason. What in the world, bro? Oh, I think the one that she has doesn't have the sound. Oh my gosh, man. She sent me the one without the sound. With this beard line looking chiseled. Alright, I'll have to try to figure that out in a second. I don't know what's going on. That really kind of triggers me though. Alright, anyway. It's a good video. It shows a whole bunch of the stuff. I was really hoping that you guys could see that because I planned on leaving some of that out because it would be in the video and now I can't play it. What are you going to do? All right, so I'm going to play this other video though. A lot of you guys may have heard of this, but there's a rapper called Tom MacDonald. I save it. I don't care about your opinion about Tom MacDonald. One thing that does get on my nerves is everyone thinking they're so woke that they just got to come in and like poo-poo on everything. You know, it's like, it's kind of lame to me. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, you're the best truther. We get it. Are you familiar with James True? Yeah, I've heard of him. Thanks for the super chat. It's just kind of lame, right? It's like, yeah, we get it. It's like the people that call all the flat earthers shills, but they don't do anything and they hide behind anonymity and they call everyone a grifter and everyone's a Mason, but they literally don't show their face and go out and try to wake people up and do the truth. They're just some random person behind the keyboard. That's like, honestly, the truthers are like a bunch of people in the truth community are some of the lamest people. I'm just being honest. Off topic, what Bible would you suggest? I read the scriptures version. So anyway, same thing goes for the Tom MacDonald thing. I mean, you can save it. I'm not trying to pretend that Tom MacDonald is like some hero that's perfect or something, right? I'm just pointing out that this guy made a song about this. So let's check it out, see what he had to say. I'm really kind of bummed out about the another video. All right, let's check it out. This song is by Tom MacDonald. It's called Cloned Rappers.
Yeah.
The Illuminati knows the answers, taking bone samples to clone rappers. But the artists in prison to silence their vision, genetic copies going home after. They look different, eyes shifted, smile missing, skin lifted. It's scientific. If they can't control you, they erase the old. You get your duplication to enforce their message. They clone Gucci, clone Kodak, cloned Eminem. He ain't rap since Encore. Know that cloning rappers when they overdose to keep making money from producing more tracks. The game is a sham, turning the artists who challenge this.
How dare them? They're not gonna want me to do the stream, I swear. You're a conspiracy theorist.
Different eyes shifted, smile missing, skin lifted. It's scientific.
It's like I mean, everything works perfectly fine. I have incredible speed right now, and then as soon as I start doing the clone stream, nothing wants to work. Are you kidding me? Maybe it'll work.
Yeah.
I'm so done, bro. They are hating, bro. I've seen enough evidence they did this to Eminem. Yeah. I'm obviously going to have to be able to play videos, so this is going to have to chill out here. What email can I send your wife's videos to? Witsit@protonmail.com if you're saying you have the one with the audio. Okay. Anyway, so just to kind of cover the general premise so it's not like forever at the beginning. So basically the reason I was going to show you that is it says there are cloned rappers and he's talking about it. And he's like, you know, look at Eminem, he hasn't rapped the same since Relapse. That is one of the people that people say were cloned. Now this is a catch-all term, right? Clone, replacement, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to play this guy, and I covered him last time, but there was this guy, and he was a very credible source, and he was constantly releasing different pieces of information, and then he came out and said this, and people like lost their mind. But up until that point, they were like, you know, they knew he was super credible. And he said there's something called organic robotoids, and that Russia was experimenting with them, and even so was our government. And this was in the 70s. And he was saying that it's not cloning, where they have been experimenting with cloning for a while, but cloning is, you know, you replicate someone, if you will, and it's like they're a baby, right? Like you replicate it and it becomes a baby. But these organic robotoids, like when they use one person to create the organic robotoid, like to pattern their design around it, it's just a replication of what they have, more so like a duplication in a way. Or maybe it would be a replication, either way, of them at the time, like their age at the current time. And I think that, personally, I think that this actually happens, and I think that this is all around you in media. I know it sounds crazy, but I wouldn't be doing a stream on it for no reason. As of now, I actually think that a good amount of very famous people, including Eminem, Kevin Hart, Dave Chappelle, I actually think that some of these people have been replaced. And there's quite a few of them, and I think that even if they haven't been replaced, that they have multiple stand-ins, and that may sound crazy, and it is crazy, right? But at the least, they have taken control of their minds like completely with MK Ultra, at the least. And we're just gonna look into it. We're gonna get into all the evidence. I'm really hoping that this is gonna work here, but let's try again.
The Illuminati knows the answers, taking bone samples to clone rappers. But the artists in prison to silence their vision, genetic copies going home after. They look different, eyes shifted, smile missing, skin lifted. It's scientific. If they can't control you, they erase the old. You get your duplication to enforce their message. They clone Gucci, clone Kodak, cloned Eminem. He ain't rap since Encore. Know that cloning rappers when they overdose to keep making money from producing more tracks. The game is a sham, turning the artists who challenge to sacrificial lambs. The labels and devils are shaking hands, creating our artists in labs.
The executions have been televised, though they're on TMZ like every night. They take our heroes, give us weaponized clones. The revolution won't be televised. I can't be replicated. Copy the attitude and the chains, but no one will ever do me the same. I can't be replicated. Try to control me, then guess again. Rebellion lives in my DNA. I can't be replicated, duplicated. system designed me to be a slave. I'm the glitch in the matrix they can't escape. I can't be replicated.
If they killed the rappers who were spitting truth, they wouldn't have a messenger to reach the youth. So they duplicate physically, implant abilities, replicate tattoos and cloning facilities. Indie contracts say worldwide, label contracts say universal. For all of time in all forms, they own all your music, your image, your name, and your person. Weird, right? I know you don't think that it's facts, but for 50,000 and a hair sample, you can clone your dog or your dying cat. It's another way for them to win the war by weaponizing important celebrities. Don't kill your foes, just clone their gods. Then you'll control all your enemies.
The executions have been televised.
So they're asking, someone's asking the question, he just answered. That's why I'm like hoping that maybe people will know I'm playing this for a reason in the order that I am, right? So wouldn't MK Ultra just be easier? Well, no, not necessarily. So like listen to that part that he just said.
Your image, your name, and your person. Weird, right? I know you don't think that it's facts, but for 50,000 and a hair sample, you can clone your dog or your dying cat. It's another way for them to win the war by weaponizing important celebrities. Don't kill your foes, just clone their gods. Then you'll control all your enemies.
The executions have been televised, oh, they're on TMZ like every night. They take our heroes, give us weaponized clones. The revolution won't be televised. I can't be replicated. Copy the attitude and the chains, but no one will ever do me the same. I can't be replicated. Try to control me, then guess again. Rebellion lives in my DNA. I can't be replicated. Duplicated, imitated, fabricated, eliminated. No, I can't be replicated. The system designed me to be a slave. I'm the glitch in the matrix they can't escape. I can't be replicated. You can see the difference in their face now. Casualties of money and the fame, posing for the cameras with that fake smile. A clone of someone who they used to be. I can't be replicated. Copy the attitude and the chains, but no one will ever do me the same. I can't be replicated. Try to control me, then guess again. Rebellion lives in my DNA. I can't be replicated. Duplicated, imitated, fabricated, eliminated. No, I can't be replicated. The system designed me to be a slave. I'm the glitch in the matrix they can't escape. I can't be replicated.
So like I said, just interesting that he said that, and he actually answers your question, right? Bro, like, well, first of all, you look at the evidence before trying to figure out why someone would do something anyway. It's a very inefficient way to look for truth. It's like, oh, well, what's that matter anyway? Well, why would they lie, right? It's like, oh, you think the earth is flat? Why would they even lie about that? So then you don't look into it, right? Look, here's the deal. It's obvious why, so we can go ahead and address that. And we can address why MK Ultra may not always work. If you've actually read the MK Ultra documents, they talk about how it doesn't always work. They talk about how eventually it wears off and some of the trigger words end up not working. And they talk about how there's all kinds of side effects and that people end up not being able, like they're not able to ensure that they maintain memory suppression. So eventually they break out and start remembering things again. Okay. And so if MK Ultra isn't 100% and say someone starts to kind of buck the system and go say things they're not supposed to say, or starts to remember things that they weren't supposed to remember, but they have a huge cultural hold on people, then they may still want to utilize a person in that position. So what would you do? Well, how would you be able to do that? You could literally take them out and just put like a little double out. Now you could say that it's just a double, but they can't just be body doubles, because they're actually communicating and doing things with the same type of characteristics. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. So we're going to get more into depth here. So I think Kai said she just did another one where she added some. So we're going to get the other video for you guys. And look, here's the deal. Like, I know you guys think that it sounds crazy. I thought it sounded crazy too, but I will just say this. Like, if you're not open-minded, just leave. Like, no one needs you here to, like, enlighten us how you know it's wrong when you haven't researched it, because it's very crazy. We're going to get into it. Actually, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just play the video. So, and then I'm going to hit you with all kinds of medical journals, and you can just sit over there and just act like you know that nothing's going on. So, I use the word clones because it's kind of an all-encompassing term, and you know, it's just the idea. The idea is what is very intriguing. So let me get this other video for us here. Oh, how dare you, Austin? And maybe we'll get to play that video in a second. All right, here we go. Here's the guy, Peter Bader. And this is that's like 8 minutes long or something, but this is important context to do the stream. So check it out. This is from the 70s. I think it's 1979 that he gave this speech. And listen to a little bit of what he has to say.
In Russia, as well as in the West, research has been underway for many years in biological synthesis, that is, artificial life forms. And according to high intelligence...
Oh, they're saying I got a copyright? Okay, well, I should make sure it comes back up. All right, we're back up. We're back up. I'm sorry. I didn't think that he would do that. I thought he actually specifically told everyone that he doesn't strike his videos. Yeah, I didn't know my stream got pulled. Yeah, but he said that people don't strike the videos. He doesn't strike his videos, and then clearly he just did. So 2 minutes was lost. Yeah, I get it. Well, like it was just the video though, right? Basically, what I was saying is, okay, look. I guess Rockfin got to keep hearing it. You said go to Rockfin. I am on Rockfin. It's always something. When I start doing this subject, it's just stuff just starts going crazy. It's weird. Austin, your YouTube got cut for policy violations. Yeah. Thank you for the $10 tip on Rockfin. Like I said, we are on Rockfin. You can go over there and watch if you want to. So he publicly said that he doesn't strike people. So what can you do? He clearly has something that struck me. So, we won't strike you as long as you're not talking about something like, important. I don't know. Anyway. All right. Yeah, rockfin.com/WitsitGetsIt if you want to ensure that doesn't happen again. There shouldn't be any situation that happens again, though. Basically, all I was saying is, look, I get a bunch of people in the chat saying, like, this is stupid. Oh, like, look, I get it. I thought it was stupid, too. Either you can, like, actually pay attention and look at the evidence that you haven't seen yet, or you can just pretend that you're going to teach us all how you know something's not true. And to me, that's very baller-esque. That's like someone that doesn't know anything about the earth talking about how stupid a flat earther is and how dumb all of it is, but they haven't researched it in depth. Either way, we're going to move on now. All right, this is an important video to gain context for the rest of the stream. Organic robotoids. Sounds crazy. I get it. Just saying the name out loud sounds crazy, but this is again from the 70s. And this guy had talked about all kinds of stuff that was verified time and time again. He said he contemplated not doing a speech on this because he knew he would lose credibility, but he felt that he had to release what he had discovered to the public. And here's just a small percentage of what he said about the subject, and you can go watch the hour-long video after this.
In Russia, as well as in the West, research has been underway for many years in biological synthesis, that is, artificial life forms. And according to high intelligence, a stunning breakthrough took place in Russia some years ago. The Russians refer to this breakthrough as a providential discovery, something they learned almost by accident. They discovered the key to creating what are known as organic robotoids. An organic robotoid is an artificial robot-like creature. It looks and acts exactly like a human being, and yet it is not human. A robotoid is alive in the biological sense, but it is an artificial life form. Robotoids respond to conventional routine medical tests in the same way as humans do. They eat, they drink, they breathe, they bleed if cut, and they can be killed. Robotoids can also think, but they think only in the sense that a computer thinks. Like any other computer, the brain of a robotoid has to be programmed for each assignment it is given. But unlike many electronic computers, the biological computer brain of a robotoid possesses an enormous memory. As a result, Robotoids can be programmed to communicate and think in such complex patterns that they act human. Organic robotoids are remarkable creatures, but they have many drawbacks.
Like I said, either you can trust me and you know that I don't just randomly say things, or you can like be impatient and freak out, right? I mean, I don't know. So this is a few minutes it's required. Just, dude, you know, you should be able to hear things without rushing to judgment, and this is going to lay the foundation for the rest of it. Don't worry, I'm coming right behind it.
They don't grow or reproduce, but must be manufactured one by one in the desired form. They also have a very limited lifespan, measured in months or even weeks, depending upon how they are utilized. This is due to the fact that their metabolism, while it resembles that of humans, is very inefficient. A robotoid can be manufactured on very short notice, a matter of hours. But after a few weeks or months, it suddenly begins to degenerate physically and mentally. When that takes place, the robotoid has to be removed from service and disposed of. To extend its useful life as much as possible, a robotoid is customarily cooled down to slow its metabolism between assignments. Organic robotoids are extremely expensive, troublesome creatures to produce and utilize. And robotoid capabilities do not exceed those of human beings. All they can really do is simulate human beings. But, my friends, for intelligence purposes, that's all they have to do. To produce an organic robotoid, it is necessary to have a pattern to go by. The pattern required is that of genetic coding, taken from a few cells from the body of a human being. In this respect, the Russian technique sounds like cloning, but the technique itself is totally unrelated to genuine cloning. A robotoid is produced within a matter of hours, and it simulates the human donor at his current age. Like any
I hope you're taking notes. There will be a test afterwards. It gets crazy, guys. Just buckle up.
man-made copy of anything, a robotoid is never a perfect copy of the human that is to be simulated. There's always small discrepancies in appearance and behavior, but these are seldom great enough to arouse any suspicion. Last month, I revealed that the Russians can manufacture organic robotoids, which are almost exact carbon copies of real human beings. This is done by a process that simulates the genetic coding of the person to be copied. It sounds a little like cloning, but it's not. A clone of a human would itself be a human, but an organic robotoid is not human. It's an artificial life form, like an animal in some ways, but like a computerized machine in others. Every Russian robotoid has what is called a holographic brain. This brain duplicates essentially the entire memory of a person being copied. The key to doing this is a new technique called an ultrasonic cerebral hologram. Using high-frequency sound waves, which are inaudible, a complete three-dimensional picture is made of a person's brain. This is a painless, non-destructive process, and under the proper conditions, it can be done without the person even being aware of it. Last month, I revealed that the Russians are using Nelson Rockefeller's hit list to weed out Bolsheviks here in America. And for roughly 3 years, they have been preparing for this day. They have been secretly making cerebral holograms of the people on the list at every opportunity. This has been done to every person on Rockefeller's list who has visited Russia or Eastern Europe in the past 3 years. When an organic robotoid is made to simulate, for example, our late President Jimmy Carter, two major factors are involved. One is the genetic coding required to simulate Carter's appearance.
Now, this guy's point blank in 1979 claiming Jimmy Carter was replicated as an organic robotoid that was put out in front of people, but it wasn't actually a human. It was just a replication. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but some people have come up to me over the years talking about Jimmy Carter and look at this and this and this and how he looks like this person, look at the differences, and they do look different. And so we'll get into all that in a second, but I find that interesting. That's a very specific allegation. Just keep that in mind.
Voice, fingerprints, and so on. The other is a holographic image of Carter's brain. This image is a complete record of the neuron patterns which existed in Carter's brain at the moment the hologram was made. Therefore, it contains all of the memory and knowledge Carter had up to that moment. When a Carter robotoid is made, the biological computer in its head is caused to form according to the holographic record of Carter's brain. However, certain portions of the robotoid computer are caused to deviate from the holographic record. The end result is a biological computer which has to be programmed, but which contains essentially all of Carter's memory, involuntary mannerisms, and the like. As a result, a Carter robotoid will automatically do certain kinds of things without the need for specific programming. For example, a Carter robotoid will seem to recognize old friends.
That's pretty crazy. Now he's giving a specific mechanism that they do this, right? There's no way this guy's right. This guy's a crackpot, right? He's lost his mind. What is he talking about? It's got to be the dumbest thing ever.
That's because the computer memory of the robotoid reproduces Carter's memory of that friend. The holographic process puts it there automatically without the Russian programmers even having to know it's there. Organic robotoids are such amazing creatures that they are still a subject of questioning and debate. This is true even among the Russian scientists who made them a reality. For example, robotoids seem to have no true instinct for self-preservation. In this regard, they act like machines, simply doing as they are told to do. By contrast, both humans and animals generally have the instinct for self-preservation. Robotoids can be programmed for self-preservation, but they are equally willing if...
I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, the truthers, actually, John Jones, I want to go and let you know that you're like on very thin ice. I re-looked at last night's stream and looked at you in the stream in the chat. So I mean, no one needs you here. Yeah, like I like honestly, I think that my channel isn't for all truthers. Some of you guys are kind of baby truthers. I'm just being honest. You guys are just kind of annoying me. I'm just gonna ignore the chat.
Willing is the word to perform suicide missions. Exploratory one-way trips into space are only one example of this. If a space mission looks too dangerous to risk the life of an experienced cosmonaut, a robotoid can now be used. The robotoid copy of the cosmonaut is already trained the moment it's made, thanks to its holographic memory. Organic robotoids look and act so much like human beings that it's hard for us to get used to the idea that they are not human. But the Russians decided several months ago that the stakes are too high not to employ them. And so, the silent Russian invasion of America by robotoids is now well underway. As of now, the White House and Cabinet are under complete control by Russia. According to my latest intelligence report, only one member of the Carter Cabinet is still alive. All the rest, including the ad hoc Gang of Four, have been replaced by Russian robotoids. Likewise, the United States now has a Supreme Court made up of 9 Russian robotoids.
Okay, so like I said, I know that sounds crazy, and fair enough. That's what I would think as well. Okay, so here's the other video. Look at it being propagandized into us.
One of the most evil, vicious.
In all kinds of media. This is the video that Kai made. Let's check it out. Shout out to Cuddy for sending it to me in the email. Okay, now a couple things I'll show you in the video here. So you had in 2012 her saying, now here's Nicki Minaj's tweet. My tears have dried and I know that no weapon formed against me will prosper. Searching for someone who can relate. Stop human cloning. Okay, now you got the video of her with all these other ones. She has another here. I think it shows it actually. Yeah, this is another post she made celebrating 50 million with my best friend forever, and it's like looks like an identical version of her, right? You could say just Photoshop, of course, we get it. This is Katy Perry saying, yay, don't clone me from the sweat I left on the dress. Shout out to whoever. And then this is right after she fell, right? Now, of course, I don't think that they're literally like cloning perfectly with genetics. I think they're making like these organic robotoids, as he would call them. This is what I think is the most probable. Here's Amanda Bynes saying it, that they microchipped her. And so like all these people have been quote unquote replicated, like according to them. So that doesn't prove anything, but it's very interesting that they're saying that, like looking for help and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So now what we'll see eventually in the stream is a whole bunch of like, glitches, right? Like a whole bunch of like them glitching out type of thing. But it's really crazy. It's really crazy if you think about it. So what I'm going to now show you is he made specific claims. This is again in 1979. Okay, now this is the part that made it crazy for me. The movie Boys from Brazil, I think, is about cloning. I'm not sure. Yeah, I heard that it is. There's another video of a guy making claims about clones, and he invokes that movie. I haven't seen it. Like I said, this is episode 1. This is to break the ice for you. Then we're going to get into like specifics of people and stuff later when I cover it one by one. But because it is very interesting. There's definitely something going on. They're doing something, whether it's either they completely take over the mind of these people with MK Ultra, which is not... MK Ultra is like control you when you start to mess up. It's not like necessarily completely taking you over like a robot. They've put it all out in front of you, man. So anyway, in 1979, he said that they use cerebral acoustic holography to... basically mimic the brain, and it obviously doesn't perfectly mimic it, but it mimics it so well that it has like this base foundation. They don't have to program much when they put this like little fake like deteriorating, but they use like actual organic material. That's why it's called that, but its interior parts actually have mechanical parts, and it's just like a robot. If you think they can't make a robot, then you're just, who's the conspiracy theorist now? They can't make a robot? Well, they've been able to make the robots for a long time, okay? The idea is that they just put the organic material over top of them, and then they're able to actually like synthetically replicate the way that the people looked. And sometimes they don't do the best job, but it's very close. It's close enough to where none of the normies or most people would never notice it, okay? And then they put it out in front of people. Now, like I said, he specifically makes this claim about a president, and he makes this claim about how they do the brain. This is the craziest part, right? I get the idea of cloning where they literally like clone it and it grows up to work perfectly. And then they gave you the story about Dolly the sheep. I've had truthers come at me since I brought this up talking about, do you see how bad Dolly the sheep went? Oh, you think the mainstream story they told you in like the 90s about a sheep that died fast, you think that was the pinnacle of their... Anyway, this guy makes this claim about acoustic holography mapping the brain. Right? So, again, let's test the veracity, because this dude's information is super legit outside of this. If you look into how often he said things, then it came to be true and it came to be declassified and stuff like that. Claims to have a bunch of inside sources. So let's, doesn't mean everything he says is true. No one is saying it does. All right, I think it's right here. Okay, let's check this out. Holographic lenses focus ultrasound for brain imaging, 2019. Okay. Well, that's weird. How did this guy kind of already know what was going to be going on here, right? Now, I had to actually restart my computer before the stream started, so I have to pull these all back up. I showed them in my other stream, but it was messed up. I have like over 30 easily documents talking about how they actually use, and they're all from like 2017 up. So this guy predicted the technology used to actually map out the brain 30, 40 years almost 40 years before it's become public that this technology can do that. So where are the truthers at now? All the truthers that know there's nothing to this, where are you at now? Can you give me a logical explanation about that? He was claiming that you can map out the brain using acoustic holography. And this is how they do it. Okay? He said that's what they were doing, that they have been doing it for many years, 40 years before it came out that the first time anyone's ever done it. Like this next article. And there's something called the Brain Initiative, which is the government, of course. And dude, they have this all over their website. All over it. So 3D functional photoacoustic imaging of human brain with a stretchable ultrasound matrix array. Yeah, I mean, dude, there are a ton of the articles explaining it. That they can map out the brain with intricacy. I'm not going to sit here and read through all the papers, though, but I'll just play a little video for you. See, me, I read through them. I actually showed them on my last one, and I'll try to grab a bunch of them. Maybe I'll play another video in a second where I'll have time to go grab all the medical journals because I had to restart the computer. But that was crazy to me, where I couldn't find any information about this that had been publicly acknowledged at all, anywhere near the time that he was saying this. It had never been heard of. Never been heard of. So, like supersonic cerebral holography. Right? And now all of a sudden, in like 2017, 2018, they're saying that they can use that to map out the brain. How does someone not think that that's kind of crazy? That maybe that guy wasn't just making stuff up. Because every other time he made claims, he wasn't making stuff up. And then you look into the Reagan thing, which, yeah, anyway. We're going to play this other little video for you. I just don't want it to like start slowing down, you know. I mean, surely you guys you followed me there, what I just was saying. All right. I'm opening them back up and we'll see how this goes. Okay, here we go. Oh, how dare you? This dude just coincidentally guessed how they were going to map out the brain with the highest level intricacy 40 years before it happened, but no big deal. You know there's nothing to it. Just to address it, please explain why you get triggered by differing opinions of questioning like mine. I don't care about you disagreeing. That's why I always like allow people in here disagreeing just to address this. I care about like constant insults and making fun of how everyone here is so beneath you and so stupid and that people here shouldn't breed and stuff like that. And you actually talked about my daughter last night in the live chat. I saw you talking about my daughter. So yeah, that's right. You aren't particularly welcomed here. So please just leave, bro, because you're just killing the vibe. And the reason I'm addressing it is because other people in the chat are not paying attention because of you. All right, sorry. Anyway, no more low vibration. So this is a hologram using MRI technology. Okay, I got another one for you. There's so much to show you guys. It's pretty crazy, honestly.
What is it?
I'm reopening them all. Sorry.
First ones to.
There's so many good, funny videos on here too. Almost done.
Yeah, that's a very
Dlive.
Okay, so what's up, Melodome? So basically, like I said, you can easily look this up for yourself. So you can look up acoustic holography of the brain mapping. I'm not going to sit here and just read tons of medical journals like I did the first time, right? But again, the sentiment's simple. This guy came out in 79. He said that Russia and the CIA are experimenting with something called like synthetics or organic robotoids, and they replicate what other people look like. They're very unpredictable. They don't last very long. They're not like super efficient. They can just like do a very surface level job of mimicking and imitating the person that they used as basically like the archetype, like the prototype, right? Like the person that they used to make the organic robotoid or whatever, right? And so they're thrown out on like a press run, but they were being used for like geopolitical purposes and spying purposes, and had to make an appearance here or here, but couldn't risk them dying or whatever it was. You can see the government would have a huge use case for this. And this was in the height of the Cold War or whatever, which is a whole nother thing, like 40 years of like propaganda. But the point is that this guy came out and said, this is how they do it. This is how they do it. They use supersonic cerebral imaging. And it's like acoustic technology. And based on the vibrations within the brain, they're able to intricately map out all the neural pathways and exchanges of the brain, or a lot of them. So much so that they can then take this, download the information, and then integrate it via a software. And people are like, you're crazy, you're so stupid, which we know the governments are like many decades, let's say 50 years ahead of what the public technology is. Like, obviously, you can just look at declassified documents. They were doing stuff way back in the day, including MK Ultra. So then we find out, like, now people are, oh, the cutting edge of science. People are now mapping out the brain. Like I said, you can go to the Brain Initiative website run by NIH.gov, and it's all about stuff like this. And a major, like, primary component, pretty much, of the way that they map out the brain now is this, like, cerebral acoustic supersonic holography, like hologram technology. What are the odds, right? And so the point is that the information is lining up, and we know that there's a possibility that you could do that. Now, the idea of like perfectly cloning another human, they obviously wouldn't have a spirit, and like that gets kind of crazy. I get it. I definitely get that. Like entire perfect replication of genetics and stuff like that seems wild. But I'm just talking about the general idea of the people that they show on the screens, right? The athletes, the politicians, the news anchors, the actresses, the musicians. Some of the really big ones, I think it may just be like a game. And say that someone builds up a career like Eminem where people start following him. That dude overdosed and then miraculously came back. Kevin Hart died got in a crazy car crash and then just came back perfectly fine. Now, the future streams will be looking into the intricacies of some of the stories of these people and surrounding evidence about what happened to them. But then Kevin Hart comes back. Then Eminem comes back and is totally different, right? Kodak Black, the rapper, goes to jail. Gucci goes to jail, comes back. They're like totally different. Tattoos in different places. They look like different people. They talk different. But they can still use these people to control people via propaganda. Like, if you wouldn't want to lose Eminem. He would be 1,000,000 times more valuable asset to you if you're trying to propagandize people, if you literally control the image that is Eminem, like literally control it. You know, not say, oh, you can't put this song out, but then he goes and has a couple of drinks and gets on internet or gets on MTV and starts talking crazily and says something he shouldn't say. And so MK Ultra is one thing, but if you've actually read the documents, it's hard to actually fully control someone. Depending on their will too, like how strong will they are. That's what the documents say. So Anyway, we're going to come back over here. We're going to start going through these videos. So I'm not just going to go through a bunch of the medical papers. Like, it's just subjective. It's pretty funny. It's just now being released as new technology that was just discovered in like 2017. Get out of here. All right. Yeah, you know, the people that live inside this group right here, inside this actually arena, saying stuff like this, they probably know way less than, you know what I'm saying, random people on the internet. All right, so here is Obama talking about cloning. Some of you guys may have heard it before.
Now, this order is an important step in advancing the cause of science in America, but let's be clear, promoting science isn't just about providing resources, it's also about protecting free and open inquiry. It's about letting scientists, like those who are here today, do their jobs, free from manipulation or coercion, and listening to what
Satanic transhuman F angel tech for immortality. Wow, what an information-packed $2 super chat. Satanic transhuman F fallen angel technology for immortality. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, we're going to get into all that gravy.
What they tell us, even when it's inconvenient, especially when it's inconvenient. It is about ensuring that scientific data is never distorted or concealed to serve a political agenda, and that we make scientific decisions based on facts, not ideology. By doing this,
Shut up.
By doing this, we will ensure America's continued global leadership in scientific discoveries and
Did I miss it?
cannot ever tolerate misuse or abuse. Ultimately, I cannot guarantee that we will find the treatments and cures can be avoided in our society or any society.
There it is.
Now, this we will never undertake this research stem cell work to convert ordinary human cells into ones that resemble embryonic stem cells. I can also promise that we will never undertake this research lightly. We will support it only when it is both scientifically worthy and responsibly conducted.
Scientifically worthy and responsibly conducted. Oh, not. What about morally reprehensible there? Some say this dude is like actually a prototype from a pharaoh, but I digress.
We will develop strict guidelines, which we will rigorously enforce, because we cannot ever tolerate misuse or abuse. And we will ensure that our government never opens the door to the use of cloning for human reproduction. It is dangerous, profoundly wrong, and has no place in our society or any society.
Why is he even talking about that? It's just completely fake. There's no way that any of it could be done. You didn't know? When you ladle loads of gravy people that only drink soda, it sounds crazy to them. U.S. gravy addicts appreciate, or us gravy addicts appreciate. Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Nominal. Much love. And yeah, it's all good. I shouldn't even address them, to be fair. I apologize for that. Okay, so there he is talking about something that, well, just could never happen at all. You know. All right. All right, let's check out. This is a trailer of a Netflix special. Well, it's a Netflix episode of Black Mirror, actually.
The reason I'm here is to introduce to you Ashley, too.
We are friends.
It's really important to be who you want to be.
Hey there, I'm Ashley, too. It's so great to meet you, Rachel.
You too.
I'll be here for you. I'll be here for you.
She doesn't understand how fragile all this is.
You think I should up the dose?
Knock 'em dead.
Believe in yourself.
It's getting so hard to keep doing this.
Believe in yourself. Ashley, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Get the cable out of my ass! Holy shit! Pull it out! Oh, God, that's a relief.
Oh, sorry about the weak word. All right. Anyway, you guys. So basically, in this show, she ends up dying because her mom makes her take too many drugs. And then they basically replicate her, and they actually use like technology like CGI and holography to put her up in front of the world to keep making money off of her and her music after she dies. And Black Mirror has tons of truth hidden in plain sight. If you've never heard of the show, I don't watch TV, but anyway, okay, now this is just kind of funny. This obviously doesn't prove anything, but I'm just saying, I think some of these people on TV are literally just fill in like not real people, is what I think. So anyway, here's a news reporter.
We're getting word from the White House that they are slightly more optimistic than they were earlier this afternoon, but there's still no word of an official deal. There's talk that
you guys notice anything weird?
Now this gets to complicated Washington inside baseball stuff, but they're talking to keep things going through the fall. So apparently that's what's in the works right now. It's far from a done deal. We do expect the Senate Majority Leader is going to come out and talk at about 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. While all of this is going on behind closed doors and in front of Capitol Hill cameras, there are 800,000 federal workers right now whose paychecks hang in the balance. That includes military members who are serving right now. And if the government does shut down, it is going to affect all sorts of things. It will close national parks around the country. It will affect the IRS. And if you file a paper return, it could delay any money that you have coming back to you.
The idea is that, yeah, just like in the chat, like this is like the computer processing the output.
If you were hoping to get a passport, that could be affected. And if you were planning to come visit us here in Washington, all of the museums would be closed, and there wouldn't be a lot to see. So
yeah, are you okay? All right, let's now. This is fair warning. If there are any children watching the stream, they should not actually watch this part. There is going to be partial nudity. But now the official story of this is none other than Kanye West song Famous. Now this is allowed to stay on YouTube, right? But if I dare talk about anything outside the parameters, we're out of here. But anyway, like this is interesting because I was trying to tell you guys this guy is in the play, the world play. No, people defending him and whatever. So this is a video that Kanye West made.
I just wanted
The official story is that these people are all wax dolls.
you to know.
Look how realistic they look, though, right? Like I said, I don't want to necessarily show all the nudity, personally. Kim Kardashian here. Almost impossible to even show you guys the video without it. Someone else, I don't even know who that is. Chris Brown, I guess. So anyway, if you want to, you can go watch it. Ray J. This is a bunch of famous people. Now, it shows in detail these people's faces and bodies. And it looks very real. Now, you have freaking Bruce Jenner. And what's crazy about this is the way the video is filmed is it just sits there and it listens to them breathing. It just listens to them breathing. A bed full of all these famous people just laying there naked. Allegedly, they're wax dolls. And you can just see them breathing and hear them breathing. And it just sits there and it films it. It's super creepy. It's wild. Okay? And it's like, well, is he putting something out in plain sight? Is this actually footage of something of some of these like fill-ins, right? Like that's what the song is talking about that we played at the beginning, right? Like they walk like us, they talk like us, but they're not like us. So this entire video, which I don't want to play just because it's so much nudity, even though it's largely just wax dolls, right? But it's all these super famous people, and it looks like real people, and they're sitting there, and you can hear them breathing. Look at some of the people here. Now here it's going to give you a list of the names. This is called Revelation of the Method. Yeah, it was George Bush. That's right. Taylor Swift, Chris Brown, Amber Rose, Rihanna, Kim Kardashian. They said that these are wax figures. Yes, that's the official story. Donald Trump. Now, like I said, it's Famous by Kanye West. Anna Wintour, don't know who that is. and George Bush. Now, you can go look this up. It's Famous by Kanye West. Like I said, it's got a bunch of naked people laying in the bed. But what's crazy is that you can literally watch them move, and then when they breathe, you can see them breathing in and out, and you can hear them breathing. Right? That's weird. That is super weird, and none other than Kanye West, Mr. He sold his soul to the devil, right? And actually, let me cover this real fast too. So, I guess this is how another confirmation Kanye West is in on the world stage and just in part of the play, just like Trump is, just like Elon Musk is. So, they're really pushing this propaganda narrative this week to brainwash people into being scared to speak truth and showing you what happens. So Kanye West wears the White Lives Matter and he does the Tucker Carlson interview and stuff. Guess what happens to him? He gets kicked out of Chase Bank. Same week, Alex Jones gets the final ruling for $1 billion, like $989 million he has to pay because he questioned the school shooting. And then there was another thing. Something else happened today or this week where it's like the narrative is don't speak truth, be scared. Now, Kanye was part of it in the same week. If you can't tell Kanye West is part of a psyop, then I'm not sure what to tell you. You know, Owen would call it grabbler football. That's what it is. It's a psyop, bro. Anyway, he's clearly big in the club, right? Like I said, I told you guys about Jay-Z, that he calls himself Hova, which is, of course, knocking off of Jehovah, right? So like what they would say Jehovah, if you look in certain books, that's what it says. Actually, you can track that name back to like mischief, from my understanding, but that's actually in Masonic books and temples and stuff like that. And so anyway, you got Jay-Z, Hova, then you have he calls himself Jesus, and that would be like replicating like the Father and the Son via blasphemy. Okay, now this is it's a gigantic spell. Oh yeah, PayPal announced that they're going to basically punish people that don't think and speak properly. So that's the trifecta all in 1 week. Okay, here's another interesting little video for you from a news anchor. Let's see what's going on here.
She's the Chief Client Officer of DigiMe, and I want to talk to you about this jobs report. A lot of people are, of course, celebrating over it and touting about how great it is. But of course, there's the other angle of this participation rate. Explain that to us and why we need to look at that.
Absolutely. Well, we're in a very good position to talk about what's going on in the job market. We work with a lot of Fortune 1000 organizations, and we get a good pulse on
what is this woman doing?
Areas of growth. We also work with quite a few staffing firms, and they're kind of the first ones to experience
no one can tell me this is normal, bro.
Tremendous growth here at
this girl is a robotoid, bro. Yo, I know it sounds crazy. It even sounds crazy when I say it, but that's why it would work, man. It's a revelation of the method. They put it in plain sight. But
me through professional types of roles, manufacturing type of roles.
I'm gonna have nightmares.
Even when you look at GDP, if you take and extrapolate the numbers, actually sales has increased here in the U.S. and isn't it? It absolutely is.
What is wrong with this lady?
Employers are actually
She likes to drink coffee? Oh, yeah, it's probably just coffee. Yeah.
Patient rate. Explain.
That is weird. Okay, so I want to go back to where I showed you the Black Mirror, right? So you saw who was the main character. Now she dies, and then they replace her because they don't want to lose the money that comes from her. Okay? So now what I'm going to show you is a song that she wrote, and we're going to look at the lyrics of the song that Miley Cyrus sings here. So the song is called Robot. All right, here are the lyrics. It's been like this from the start, one piece after another to make my heart. You mistake the game for being smart. Stand here, sell this, and hit your mark. But the sound of the still and the crush and the grind, it all screams to remind me who decides my life. But in time, it all dies. There's nothing left inside. Just rusted metal that was never even mine. I would scream, but I'm just this hollow shell, waiting here, begging, please, set me free so I can feel. Hey. And stop trying to live my life for me. I need to breathe. I'm not your robot. Stop telling me I'm part of the big machine. I'm breaking free. Can't you see? I can love and I can speak. As if it's like the programming actually is able to somehow flirt with the idea of like what it means to actually consciously think. Now they can't, they don't have actual consciousness, right? They wouldn't in this scenario, but it's like, it's crazy to think if you map out the neural pathways that much, then they'd be able to, they would be processing older memories. So you gave me eyes, so now I see. I'm not your robot, I'm just me. You gave me eyes, so now I see. I mean, these are weird lyrics. All this time I've been misled. There was nothing but crosswires in my head. I've been taught to think that what I feel doesn't matter at all. So you say it's real. I'm not your robot. And then, yeah, stop trying to live for me. I need to breathe. I'm not your robot. Can't you see I can love and I can speak without somebody else operating me? This is weird lyrics, right? And I'm like, oh no, this is, like, I get this. This is not a stream for the closed-minded. All right, it's definitely not. And to talk about all the stuff in media that alludes to this, we'd be here forever. It's already going to be a long stream, you know. Okay, let's move on. This girl's obviously looks crazy, doesn't prove anything, but it's super weird. I just was pointing that out. It's not a coincidence to me. Miley Cyrus. We'll get into Donald Marshall again. He talks about her quite a bit. Okay, now here is Nicki Minaj. Now we showed where Nicki Minaj. I think I might have the image up here too. I don't see it actually, but so anyway, where she literally she drops. Wait for it. In here, right, you have Nicki Minaj saying in a tweet, "My tears have dried, and I know that no weapon formed against me will prosper. Searching for people who can relate. Hashtag stop human cloning." Then she drops this video, got a bunch of hers around. Oh, just art. And then you have her posting a picture with her saying that she's posing with her best friend forever, right? Okay, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Now let's watch this girl do a performance here. Your stream stopped by YouTube. Again? The stream stopped a long time ago, so I don't think it just stopped or something. I think you're a little behind. Okay, let's check this video out. Boom. Then she realizes that she messed up. Now this is MK Ultra at the least, right? Let me read out this tip here. Thank you for the tip on Rockfin. Plum level square bear. Support what you like, or it will have to go get a slave like 9 to 5 to support the new baby. True that. Thank you for the donation. I'm just gonna read it again. I like where your head's at here. Support where you like, or it'll have to go get a slave like 9 to 5 to support the new baby. Exactly. And thank you for the $10 tip on Rockfin. What a world. Austin, what exactly did you mean last stream regarding a mother with Rh negative blood co-opting the child if father isn't the same type? Curious and confused by what you mean. Thanks. Also, I proposed the new name Projector Dave for the clown that runs from you. That's funny. Instead of Professor Dave, we'll call him Projector Dave. Yeah, not to digress too much from the stream, but yeah, basically, like, from my understanding, if a woman is Rh negative and then the person that impregnates her is not, then there's potential that the body will not have the baby. The woman will not have the baby, and then they have some type of, like, shot that makes the body have the baby anyway. So we're going to watch this again. Now, pay attention. She obviously shuts down and just, like, it's just like a robot, man. It's just, the video's blurry. Oh, man. Well, hopefully you guys can kind of see it here. I mean, she's out of it. There's nothing that you can say right now. You can't say, oh, she just forgot the words. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. She didn't just forget the words. She forgot how to say words. Right? Yeah, I don't get what's wrong. It sounds like normal. Dude, she's supposed to say her bars here. There's lyrics that... Okay. Like I said, this is not for everyone. It's like she short circuits here. Okay? So for those with the eyes to see, they're going to see something's going on right here. So just watch how everything changes. Her demeanor changes, her voice changes, her ability to say words goes out the window. She's just like something short circuiting, and then watch at the end where she realizes what happened. Dude, she clearly has the moment where she realizes that she messed up. Like that something happened. It's like she didn't even know something happened until right here. Nicki Minaj. So that's pretty weird. That's just a stroke. Yeah. I'm not here to convince people to have pattern recognition. That would be an impossible task, so I don't care. All right. There's another video here that I want to show you guys. Let's just move on. Okay, now this is where it also gets very interesting. So this is a guy that goes up on a radio station, right? And pulls a gun on the news anchor, David Horowitz, who's the consumer reporter for the news, Channel 4 Los Angeles, and tells him to read this. Now, this is the video that's covering it. Now, watch, they cut it out. Don't worry, I got you, though. I'll read you the script since they want to try to prevent you from knowing what was said conveniently. This guy went out of all this, did all this to make sure that this got read. Turns out this was actually just a BB gun. He never was going to hurt anyone. He just wanted to make him read this on the news so that it would actually get out. Okay, now watch what happens.
I learned that my brother-in-law had been driven insane in the same, what is it? In the same manner that had been, I was called in. The room was ordered to go to black, kill the studio by mail order.
Here it is.
Because, you know, one of the nicest things about shopping by mail order. Pardon me? What is this? Let me see what it says. All right. He's got a gun to his back. All right, well, let me read this. Folks, we have someone on the set who's standing here and would like me to read this copy which was just handed to me. You want to tell me your name or not? What is it? And Gary, where are you from?
At that point, the control room was ordered to go to black, kill the studio mics, and put up a standby slide. But Horowitz continued to read, and the gunman kept the gun in his back.
I was warned in 1981 by someone with connections at the CIA to stay off the computers, that they didn't trust people on computers. When I began receiving disturbing calls from my parents, which led me to believe that something terrible was going on, I was then forced into a mental hospital in Tallahassee, where I learned that my brother-in-law had been driven insane in the same manner that someone was trying to do to me.
The gun was a precise replica, and police, who by then had entered the facilities, made plans.
That is a good point. Does he look scared? No, he doesn't. He looks not scared at all, but just tap into the gravy, please.
To deal with the situation. But when the statement had been read, the gunman placed the gun on the desk, and anchorman John Beard grabbed it. Burbank police wrestled the man to the floor. He has been identified as Gary Stallman, and he said he never intended to harm anyone.
Okay, so you heard that's all that they play was something about computers. Right? Now let's read what was actually on the paper that they don't want you to know. Because that makes it kind of weird that they won't. If it's just some crazy guy, why not just show what he said? Look what's popping up. Recipe ideas for gravy. Okay. So, a clip of one of the more extraordinary moments that has ever taken place on local news is currently zooming up at the charts at Reddit. Deleted Anyway, the incident happened in Los Angeles at the studio of KNBC on August 9th, 1987. A mentally unwell man by the name Gary Stallman, convinced that he knew about government cover-ups and nefarious conspiracies, held a gun to the back of David Horowitz, consumer advocate reporter, and later the host of the popular TV program Fight Back, and forced him to read a rambling manifesto. Fearing for the worst, the station cut away, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to hear your freaking psyop propaganda nonsense. Okay, so, dude, get out of here. All right. Thousands of viewers, however, witnessed the drama as the man, later identified as Gary Stallman, 34, of Tallahassee, Florida, son of former KNBC pharmaceutical reporter Max Stallman, walked up behind Horowitz and handed him the statement. So his dad used to work at the news station. That's how he was able to get in. Okay, here's what it says. Ladies and gentlemen, Horowitz said calmly, taking out his spectacles and putting them on. There's a man here who wants me to read a statement. Could we get your name, sir? And Gary, where are you from? But Horowitz said later he was anything but calm. He just looked very calm to all of us. But anyway, the guy came up and put a gun in my back. He said, my first reaction was, I can't believe this is happening. His first words to me were, read this or I'll shoot you. People later told me how calm I looked, but believe me, I wasn't. KNBC news reporter Tom Capra ordered the program cut off the air. The guy came back on at 4:42. 26 later, it went to black. We cannot allow people with guns or weapons of any kind to take a television station hostage. I'm just trying to find the actual freaking... Okay, here we go. I think. Okay, so for the sake of brevity, I will simply summarize the allegations and make comments where I wish to do so. It's so hard to find the actual transcript. What a joke. Okay, his physical father is in fact a clone created by the CIA and alien forces. Now, of course, this would be, interdimensional demonic forces. Cloning is a part of a plot to overthrow the U.S. government. Well, actually, they control the government. The CIA maintains mental retraining hospitals. Phones were turned off at Rollum Psychiatric Hospital in Cincinnati for 48 hours after his arrival. A former CIA official had an interview on KPFK radio in which he told a college audience that the CIA has towed barges across New York Harbor that were disease-ridden. The CIA assassinated JFK, demands the Air Force release all the information on UFOs. Oh, that's so crazy, right? Like, oh, now they're saying they have information on UFOs. So anyway, the point is this guy comes up with a fake gun and he says that his dad is actually a CIA clone, and his dad used to work for the CIA, and he used to work for the news, which of course they do, because Operation Mockingbird admits that while working for the news, basically you do work for the CIA, right? That they own people and that news anchors. So anyway, this is interesting. Some guy came out and said the CIA is doing cloning and went all out to try to make sure people found out. We already looked at that. Okay, so here is Westworld. If you guys have ever heard of that show, here is a trailer about Westworld where they put the truth in plain sight. So some gravy about Westworld. I think Westworld is actually about Jeffrey Epstein. Share the link to this report, please. Yeah, so if you go to my Telegram, I'll drop all the information from the clones in the Telegram. You go to t.me/WitsitStreams. I mean, I can drop this link in there right now. This is kind of like a damage control piece, to be honest, but it's super hard to try to find the transcript, and I didn't have enough time to get everything together. There's that thing I was just reading, though. But so I think that Westworld is literally about Jeffrey Epstein. I think that all these super powerful people, there was Epstein Island, but he also owned a ranch in New Mexico, like in the middle of nowhere, and it was an imitation old Western town, right? And all these super famous people would go there. In fact, the Clintons took an annual retreat there. This is real. Jeffrey Epstein owned a ranch in New Mexico, and it was an old imitation, like a Western, old-timey Western town, an imitation old Western town. Okay, now that's pretty crazy. Now look at what Westworld's about. If you don't know, it's about this imitation Western town where all these wealthy people come and they're able to live out all their fantasies. And they're doing all this crazy technology so that they're able to live out fantasies without any type of repercussions. So that's what I think Westworld's about, is them literally just kind of like showing what they did with Epstein without people knowing. But anyway, let's check out the trailer and see if it's possible they're putting truth in plain sight. Revelation of the method.
Do you know where you are?
I'm in a dream.
That's right, Dolores. You're in a dream. Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
Welcome to Westworld. No orientation. No guidebook. All our hosts are here for you.
In this world, you can be whoever you want.
Are you real?
Well, if you can't tell, does it matter?
Oh, no!
This behavior, we're miles beyond a glitch here.
Pay attention here.
What are your drives? To meet my maker.
I'm terrified. I feel spaces opening up inside of me. Like a building with rooms I've never explored. I think there may be something wrong with this world. Something hiding underneath. These violent delights have violent ends.
Okay, that's enough. I'm sorry I said violent. So, I saw someone say the Truman Show did it for me. Yeah, they put truth in plain sight. It's called revelation of the method. It worked for spell and then natural law. So since they tell you the truth, you choose to believe the lie anyway, or fool yourself, deceive yourself. You lie to yourself. So therefore, they don't think they have natural repercussions. Okay, so Kevin Hart was in a car crash, and he said he had a quote afterwards saying, "The old me died in that car crash." Now, the car crash is super sketchy. Now, we'll cover some of the people's stories and stuff later in an episode 2 or something, right? Different people that may not be legitimately who you think that they are, and in depth as to why I think that. Just know that I've looked into a good amount of this, and there's a whole bunch of sketchy stuff going on that MK Ultra alone cannot explain. That's why this show is a thing. So I'm ladling the grave for those that are ready, and they can go look into some of it. Now, he was in a car crash, and the whole story doesn't make sense. First, the initial report is that there was another guy there. Then the initial report said that there were 3 people there. The police report, the initial 911 call, and then the call from 911 where the police called his wife, or his wife calls 911 while they're at the house, and after he's had this car crash, oh, he's in terrible condition. I can see part of his back, and blah, 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 blah. It's all these weird conflicting ideas of what was going on with this car crash. It doesn't make any sense. Oh, I didn't know this. I guess the official story is it made him 3 inches shorter. That's pretty crazy. Oh, okay, just kidding. So the whole thing is really crazy. I mean, at this point, you never know. So the point is that the whole story of this car crash is wild. Now, if you look at the car crash, it's like no one could survive that thing, bro. I don't know how someone could survive that. I guess it's possible, but it's really crazy. Right now, I've seen people survive crazy stuff, so I'm not saying it's literally impossible. But he's now come out. Heart can't possibly be shorter. Okay, now listen to this, what he says here.
Sports Center, Kevin Hart, star of the new film Central Intelligence, joining us now. How do you do it? I look on Twitter, there you are. Facebook, there you are. Television, there you are. How do you do it?
I have a clone.
I was going to say that. There's 2 of you.
Cat's out the bag, okay? It's about a good 3 of me. We broke it. They didn't want to release it yet. This is major news that I'm giving you.
All right.
I'm the first person to ever use it. I'm cloned.
Okay, all right, I appreciate it.
Now, we get it, right? He's a comedian. You could say he's just joking. I understand. Save me all the normie responses. I get it. This is weird. This is weird. So he just point blank says, now look how serious he presents it.
How do you do it? I look on Twitter, there you are. Facebook, there you are. Television, there you are. How do you do it?
I have a clone.
I was going to say that. There's 2 of you.
Bro, he looks kind of serious when he says it. I mean, I get it. He could be acting, right? But to try to make the joke funny. But, like, I don't know. Just use your discernment. Is it possible that they really do put out, like, fake versions of these people that are run with software, and they have, like, shelf lives, right? And they just put them out there for appearance like this, appearance like that, right?
Television, there you are. How do you do it?
I have a clone.
I was going to say that. There's 2 of you.
Cat's out the bag, okay? It's about a good 3 of me. We broke it. They didn't want to release it yet. This is major news that I'm giving you.
All right.
I'm the first person to ever use it. I'm cloned.
Okay. All right. I appreciate
That's why I'm able to do all that I do.
All right. Movie coming out this weekend. What was it like working with The Rock?
I have a clone. I have a clone. I have a clone. I have a clone.
I was going to say that. There's two of you.
Cat's out the bag. Okay?
Pretty crazy. So the reason that is really interesting is because if you look into his car crash, it's super sketchy. Right? So I get you can be like, yeah, he's mocking the idea. He's just a comedian. Look into the car crash. It's super crazy. I didn't have time to go into every person's story on this episode. Right? That's why I put episode 1. Okay. Now here's another interesting thing here. Some people say, well, it's like the idea of fallen angels. No, I don't think that, fallen angels and disembodied spirits are different. So the Nephilim, and then you have disembodied spirits, and do they need physical vessels? And I don't know that they actually need some physical vessel that they can just take over. I don't know. That's a whole different thing. This one's really circumstantial and open to interpretation. I said that in the beginning of the stream. I don't know if you were here. So one thing's for sure, something's really going on with the celebrities. And the question is it just MK Ultra? So anyway, here's another thing that's very crazy. It's where a lot of famous people look identical to people in the past.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to whether this is people from the past, photos.
Okay, let's check them out.
However, after seeing photos of a few celebrities compared to people from the past, one may start to question whether this is a pure coincidence or perhaps something else is at play.
That was a stretch, big time.
Nevertheless, let's see some more examples of these historical doppelgangers and see if this...
Now, some of these do look crazy, right? Like this one looks crazy to me. This one also looks pretty crazy to me. This looks crazy to me. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not claiming I know it, but I'm not so intellectually insecure that I'm afraid to talk about things while I'm trying to figure them out, right? And so it is what it is.
This will change your mind with regards to time travel or reincarnation. Please don't forget to tell us your thoughts in the comments section below, and enjoy.
Like, I think this one's pretty crazy. This one is kind of crazy. And then what all this guy's used for and how sketchy all of it is, I don't know. I think it's crazy. I know sometimes people just look alike. This is just all of this is just for you to take in and think about. Is it possible that they do something like replicate the way people look, and they put them in these very like famous positions as fill-ins, right? And they have full control over them. And do they have like some semblance of sentience, right? Would they even know? I know it sounds crazy, man. I know, trust me. You girl. This dude was, put into the hands of like child abusers from the beginning, right? If you looked into Leonardo DiCaprio at all, it's very sad. I don't buy that one. And some of these are such a stretch that it's like, this is not even... I low-key think that this dude looks like her. All right, anyway, that was just quick, like, look, take it or leave it. But the idea is, do they cycle some of these different... Because if they're able to do it for a while, then they're able to kind of replicate or really kind of perfect it. And this guy says they've been doing it at least since the 40s. Now we're gonna look. This is a mixture of, could be MK Ultra, could be something else, and that's kind of what we're trying to figure out. If you don't think that these people are at least like even MK Ultra, you're the conspiracy theorist, right? Like that, you're the one that's crazy. Now I think most people here understand MK Ultra is a real thing, declassified and everything, but I don't think people fully understand the limitations of MK Ultra. So let's check out some of these videos.
You know they call me old brown eyes, right?
This dude just shuts down like this right here during the stream.
As a matter of fact, you both have experience singing New York, New York. His was at the slam dunk contest. Yours was in Vegas.
It's gonna be hard
Next.
to beat the chaos right now.
People try to tell me 2 Chainz is just really high right here.
You know, they're
Now you could you could call it demonic possession, I guess, as well, right? Demonic possession integrated with MK Ultra and stuff like that.
on a mission right now. You know, I guess they want to show the public that last year wasn't a fluke for us. You know, we're here. We're for.
The Telegram channel is t.me/Witsit streams, and after the stream, I'll drop a bunch of the links.
Real, we're for real team.
Speaking of showing us, 2 Chainz, you got a shot, 2 Chainz? You got a shot, let me see that shot, dog. Speaking of showing us, 2 Chainz, you got a shot, got a shot. Speaking of showing us, 2 Chainz, you got. Speaking of showing us, 2 Chainz, you got a shot, 2 Chainz. Got a shot, let me see that shot, dog.
It's weird. It's like they just come back too. It's very weird. Like I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but just in the middle of the talk, watch this guy.
That's exactly how you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies in your high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today.
It's like that's his trigger word or something.
Actually, it's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll. And as Mark Cohn says in his great song "Walking in Memphis," there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king.
But it's been a heck of a ride, to be honest. I really can't complain. Yeah, I was kind of I was a little down. I found out I was injured and I had to have surgery again, or with another knee.
This dude's just out of it.
But at the end of the day, I have amazing teammates. Guys like Draymond, everybody on this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like, yo. On this team, they come over there, they wrap their hands around me like, yo.
What is he doing? It's like they're reset. It's like they have programming. Look, see, I get you can say that it's MK Ultra. I get it. But bro, it's like if there was computers processing information, you would have glitches. You would have it mess up. You would have it kind of get glitchy and laggy and kind of have to reset and restart. And I know it sounds crazy, but dude, I literally have seen videos of them having these type. Maybe that's what I need to show you. I just assumed everyone knew this, right? Where they have bodies of people that look real, and you can look in the back of their head with the head off, and you can literally see it's a computer, it's a robot, right? So, anyway.
Was it a trance?
Yeah, watch the drill there.
Bad news for the Obama administration. We have this new CNN ORC poll, which is quite a turnaround in.
Like, what is that? What is that? Like, a lot of you are reminding me of like when you first wake up to the ball, right? And you're like, there's not a real picture of the Earth from space in 72 from the moon mission. We know that's fake. Oh, well, they just didn't have a reason to take another picture, and it's just got to get so far away. And it's like, don't you know sometimes people don't have real pictures? And it's like, oh my gosh, bro.
Well, a very, very heavy debatation tonight. We had a very Darrison, but let's go to Terrace and look for the head of the pit. We had a very Darrison, but let's go to Terrace.
Clones cost $20 to make. They can off the real person clone them and make mass money. Yeah, I mean, they can control everything that they say. That would be a huge benefit. There's no doubt there'd be a benefit to it. Now, this one's crazy.
What's wrong with me? No, but it's good. No, it's good. It's good.
Now, this is the part no one ever talks about. Watch the people in the back, okay? These are her handlers. Like, as if this is not a real thing. Like, this is... They use organic material and they have a robot. I think that's possible, right? I mean, at the least MK Ultra, right? We get it. Demonic possession, MK Ultra. What's the difference? Combination, blah blah blah. Or now watch these two people in the back here, like they're their handlers. Now watch what they do when she has her little shutdown.
It's good. You gonna be good. It's a good shit.
What is that? What's up with that? Why are they freaking out when she has her little her little shutdown? All right, so watch her shut down. If she's having a stroke, then okay, that's bad. Yeah.
A little shaky. I don't know what's wrong with me. No, but it's good. No, it's good.
Oh, is that a stroke too? Is that also a stroke?
It's a little shaky. I don't know what's wrong with me. No, but it's good. No, it's good. It's good. It's good. You gonna be good. It's a good shit.
You see the people in the back?
It's good. It's good. You gonna
Look down. What's up with that? What's up with the people in the back looking down? You can't find my Telegram. It's t.me/WitsitStreams. It's right there, bro. It's right there. t.me/WitsitStreams. There's the link. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Nominal much love. Strokes don't look like that. Look, there are people that are gonna. It's like ballers, right? Like, this is just for who it's for, right? Just like the last stream was. That's what this channel is. I'm not. We're not gonna stay back down at the low vibration because you're not ready to wake up yet. The crazy part, dude, is the people in the back too. Like I've seen this video before, but I never noticed that until I saw that on another clip. Oh, how dare them!
It's good. It's good. You gonna
Looking down super fast. What's up with that? What's up with that?
It's good. It's good. You gonna be good. It's a good shit.
Bro. They cringe. You see what I'm saying? The Wizards of the Zoo, you're like a normie. You think there's a ball or something?
It's good. It's good. It's good. You gonna be good.
Look straight down, freaking out. Okay, move on. People do have legitimate strokes. Oh yeah, all of these are strokes for sure. Yeah, we're the conspiracy theorists.
Put emotions and business aside. You have to separate the two, and you don't know how.
And she looks like possessed.
That's where I come in, and I keep your emotions, and I deal with your emotions over here. But when it comes time for business,
She looks possessed. Straight up. I guess you guys are definitely going to say this is a stroke too. Honestly, I don't care though. You guys will also say that when the sun and the moon are both in the air during the eclipse, that actually the sun's not really there.
handle it in a professional manner, because sometimes it's hard for you to.
How you doing? Halloween costume contest. We do it every year. It's always a lot of fun. Let's get started. Our first caress.
Yeah, exactly. They made a great, like, then they just snap back with fake smiles, not like, hey, I need medical attention. LOL, stop lying to yourself. Exactly. This makes no sense. Now, she's like, she saw something crazy or something. I don't know.
In covertly recorded off-air transmissions
Look at this.
from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters, which placed him in the White House.
Okay, so that makes me want to show you this over here. How dare you? How dare you, Austin? I gotta stop reading the chat so much because you guys just be freaking out, you know? You know what I'm saying? I get it. I thought I was crazy too, so I forgive you. It's okay. We can still be friends. All right, check this.
Jefferson Clinton. Now, human cloning raises deep ethical concerns. There is virtually unanimous consensus in the scientific and medical communities that attempting to use known cloning techniques to actually create a human being is untested, unsafe, and morally unacceptable. 2 days ago, the Senate voted to take the time necessary to carefully craft a bill that will ban the cloning of human beings while preserving our ability to use cloning technology for morally acceptable and medically important purposes.
Wow. So basically, what they're trying to say is, we don't want people to in the world to experiment with it and figure out what's going on and what's possible. We want to do it behind the scenes, right? That's exactly what they would do in that situation. So,
already you have given us the scientific foundation for this debate. I thank you for that, and I urge you to continue to play an important role as the Senate and then the House considers this very significant issue in the coming year.
it's just ironic that it's this guy, and then we're just over here watching him be a clone, basically. But what's funny is, why are they talking about that? It was 100% impossible, it could never happen. And why are both presidents coming out talking about how they're not going to do it?
Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar.
Not strokes. If strokes, they take a long time to recover, if ever. Yeah, of course. But this is what I'm saying. It's called cognitive dissonance. So you're like, oh, they're on drugs. Oh, they're having strokes. Because the idea that, and I don't even watch any mainstream stuff, right? But the idea that they're propping up athletes, politicians, actors and actresses, news anchors, and they're using some type of technology so that they're in full control of the actual positions and the actors that are in front of you, that may make some people uncomfortable, that they could be around us, right? So, I mean, what can you do? Yeah, they're probably all on drugs, right? I mean, you know, everyone's at their own place. Like, I intuitively see the pattern here. There's something going on. They are controlling these people. The question is, to what extent and what's the method?
To a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
I put that in my video. The dude's just out of it. Yeah. Someone said Monica's underneath him.
I would remind people that every single morning we all awaken to a safer, freer world because of George Bush. And Nicole, I would remind you and the people of Florence that all of us awaken every single day to a freer, safer world because of George Bush.
We've all seen this one, I think.
It was a wonderful, meaningful endorsement in every way, and I was very proud of it.
The only like real logical explanations to me is MK Ultra, demonic possession, hypnosis combined with MK Ultra, because you need like distant control with trigger words, microchips implanted for MK Ultra purposes, and or organic robotoids. Like the idea of like literally growing them from a cell up seems like a bit of a stretch, even to me at this point, but I'm not going to rule it out. I don't, you know, all the arguments I get against it is like, did you see how bad Dolly the sheep went? I'm like, wow, you're really crushing. Tell me about the clones. I literally am. I'll get back to it in a second. I'm showing all the glitches.
You guys have got to try the cold chai.
You don't have to watch too much of Hillary. Hillary glitches a lot. This person looks like she could be on drugs. Here is Beyonce, where she's clearly just like zoning out. I'll drop the link for this video. Maybe we'll watch more of it in a second. You could say she's on drugs, I guess, but she's clearly just like out of it. Then he notices that she's like out of it, and he's like, oh, snap. Look at that, turning around like that. That's not really drugs. That's like robotic behavior, right? That's what I think. Okay, here's a famous one of Britney Spears. This looks somewhat demonic as well.
You've had a rough year. You've had a year that would test a lot of people. Illness in the family. A breakup. This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Ah, weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strong Brittany. Yeah, it was a weird.
It's so weird. This is just such weird behavior. We're looking at all the weird behavior. Then we're going to go back to the guy giving the specifics. This dude's asking, like, where's the actual gravy, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I just now showed you a guy from 1979 claiming that they had organic robotoids. From 1979, he predicts the type of technology that you would use to map out the brain intricately to be able to transfer it to a synthetic, like entity or body. And then I showed you that 4 decades later, they're coming out saying that this has just been accomplished for the first time ever using the exact same technology that this guy said that they're using to literally map out the brain with the highest level of intricacy ever. And somebody wants to address that. I mean, everything else you say is just literally irrelevant to me.
But I was just referring to myself in the past.
I think a lot of people have seen this one, but it's pretty weird. We'll watch it. I'll go ahead and drop this link in the chat as well. They're hating on me with the loading, though.
Ew, I'm embarrassed. Can we stop?
You need to remind yourself that you need to focus and try not to let stuff bother you as much as possible. But it is going to bother you because you're human, and I was human. I am human still.
Dude, that's weird. And I was human. It was just, oh no. I'm not going to keep addressing like the people that can't maybe see it. Anyway, that
because you're human, and I was human. I am human.
That's such a genuine thing.
Personalization thing was that you did, and why you did it, and what's the value of it to your users?
Maybe I should take off the hoodie.
Take off the hoodie.
Go ahead.
You want to? You want? Go ahead. Here. Let me get someone. You all right?
Yeah.
This is a great moment in internet history.
What?
You all right?
What are we gonna do with the mic?
Put it on your.
All right.
Put it on the collar of your T-shirt. Do you want?
Do you need some help?
No, I'm good.
All right. Okay. Mark?
Sorry about the.
Sorry about being warm, Mark.
No, it's.
We're not even yelling at you.
Yeah.
Yet.
We're not going to yell at you.
No, we're of course not. That is a warm hoodie.
Yeah, no, it's a thick hoodie.
This is so
it's,
awkward.
It's a company hoodie. We print our mission on the inside.
What?
Oh,
my
really?
God, the inside of the hoodie, everybody. Take a moment. What is it? Making the...
How nervous
Making
he
the
got.
world more open and connected.
Oh my God, it's like a secret
Cool.
cult. Look at that, making the world open and connected, stream, graph, platform, and this weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati. Oh, 2010.
No, it's 2010.
Oh no. This weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the
I
Illuminati.
don't like when people just like
Oh my
repeat things
God,
over and
it's
over.
like a
Like,
cult.
I got it the first time.
This-
Tom Cruise kind of goes crazy. Obviously, he could just be kind of acting weird.
On charges of smoking weed and then...
Okay, Amanda Bynes, again, in this right here, you'll see, this is her. My dad never did any of those things to me. The microchip in my brain made me say those things, but he's the one that ordered them to microchip me. Now, it's this idea, let me come over here. It's this idea, right, that certain people are basically pawn their children off. You got Leonardo DiCaprio, and then people like Miley Cyrus, Amanda Bynes, all kinds of people. Orlando Brown, like a whole bunch of people. Now, I don't know a ton of famous people. Justin Bieber, where they've just been in it from the beginning. And if you look into Leonardo DiCaprio's history, like he's been sexually abused since he was a child. It's very sad. That dude was just broken. And it's the idea that they're basically given to them like pawns. And if they've been working on this technology for a while, say that they scan your brain, they get all kinds of different memories and mannerisms and stuff. And then they would just experiment with these things behind closed doors to see how well they could work. And then if they ever needed to, if they perfect it well enough, they could basically pull the plug on you, if you will, and then still maintain your public appearance, right? And if people start to catch on, maybe they could take you out at that point. Like, one thing is for sure that, for example, Gucci Mane, this rapper dude, he went into jail. He came back, and his tattoos were in different places, like on his face and stuff, in different places. Tattoos don't just appear in different places. People's earlobes don't come out, don't attach and attach and attach and attach and attach and attach, right? People's like actual facial structures don't change entirely and then change back and then change back, right? There's something weird going on. There's something weird going on. And all these people like lost their mind. You have Tila Tequila coming out saying that they're cloning centers. Hillary Clinton's a clone. I'm definitely cloned. And then they just full out attacked that girl after she came out and said that. Talked about the cloning centers, right? So there's definitely something weird going on here, bro. And like the people that are really like connected into these circles, they hear stuff like this and they see information like this and they're coming out and saying that something like this is going on. You know, there's definitely something to it. We're trying to get to the bottom of it. Someone in the 70s is trying to tell you about it. Now, all this stuff that we see now is pretty crazy. They didn't have that back then, obviously. So, with the Britney Spears thing, here we go. Break the ice. Britney Spears. So you saw her all glitching out. There's all kinds of stuff of her like glitching out. Here's a video she does. It's all about clones.
I know I shouldn't have kept you waiting.
See, it's literally all kinds of clones in the video. And then in the video, she comes in, breaks all the clones out of the cloning center. So she used to be in the cloning center, then she goes back to rescue them and breaks them all out of the cloning center. Okay, so, and then you start just looking into Britney Spears. It's just super weird, super creepy. Now, this is what's so beautiful about it from their perspective, right? If something like this was going on, how would you be able to tell? How would I tell? Do you think that I'm going to go break into one of these areas where they house them and go get some up close high definition footage for you? Now, obviously, I'm not saying that like the fact that it'd be hard to proves that it is real or something. I'm just explaining that if anyone is realistic at all, it wouldn't be. You would have to look at stuff like this person's facial structure doesn't match now. This tattoo is now in a different place. Kodak Black and Gucci Mane both had tattoos rearranged on them and came back looking entirely different. That's what Tom McDowell was talking about. Like with Gucci Mane. Then you have Eminem come back. He looks entirely different than people, but they have cover stories for all of it. They have the cover stories for the normies. Worst case scenario, they start to pick up on the fact they look different. Oh, he stopped doing drugs. Oh, he went to jail and he started working out a lot. They never really addressed the tattoo thing, and they're spotted a few times with messed up tattoos, and then in a few weeks they had the tattoos back where they're supposed to be. That's weird, bro. Like anyone that can apply pattern recognition knows something's going on. Kodak Black is very influential on younger people, right? Like pretty like ratchet, like promotes violence and stuff, rapper, but that obviously is a good tool for them to brainwash people into a proclivity for violence. And like just low vibration depravity. And so then you have like the thing with Gucci Mane is super weird, but that, oh no, he just went to jail. And then Kevin Hart, oh, he was just in a crazy car accident. It changed his life, and he said the old him died, and he just decided to take his life super serious and changed, right? Or like when you have these people just like glitching out, right? They just ignore it because they know that if someone shows a video of like all of a sudden she's in her interview and then she just like stares forward, and then the people that are like with her behind her, like they're like, oh snap, they look down whenever she glitches out. That is someone like me trying to show it to be like, look, something weird here is going on. Then you'll have all kinds of people just immediately attack you. It's like, I don't know. I don't care anymore about people not understanding. Like there's something going on. I can feel that there's something going on. Looking into it, you can tell that something's going on. I guess maybe what I should have really done is just driven home the freaking like medical journals of how well they can map out the brain with the exact technology this guy used. Actually, I think I'm just going to try to find some more of him. Because for me, that's pretty substantial. That there's somebody that was like constantly releasing information that came from the government and stuff. And All right, let's see what we got here. And then he predicts specific things that weren't known about at all for like 40 years till now. I mean, if someone can't see that that's weird, I don't understand. Like, I'm not some crazy conspiracy theorist that wants to believe every conspiracy. That's far from the situation here. So, here's the guy, Peter Bader. He ran for governor in 1968, but he lost. Here, I'll drop this link for you guys as well. And now, like I said, it's the future. Oh, this the link is so long that I can't even drop it. Wow. I'll put it in the Telegram. I really no need to adjust them. The gravy's for the gravy lovers. Yeah, of course. Remember when they declassified MK Ultra decades later, but then realized it was wrong and stopped doing it? Me either. Yeah, exactly. They declassified it and they're like, oh, this is morally wrong. Thank you for the super chat nominal. Exactly, bro. Just ridiculous. This is 37 pages of some about time I gave a super chat. Thank you for your hard work. And yes, I agree. Something's definitely going on. Nice. Thank you for the super chat, PCJNet. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, something's going on, man. Something's going on, bro. That's what we're trying to get to. Like, we have to lay the foundation before we can get into all the specifics. Let me see what else I have before we cover that. Covered that. This is, again, I already showed you guys, like, penetrating the skull with holography. And I showed you this as well. Okay, so I think we actually are ready. So we'll just watch the end of this, and then I'll, nobody wants to be a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I know. But it's like, where's at one point to be a coincidence theorist? Where you just sound like ridiculous, constantly trying to explain things away. Super chat train, keep them coming. Hey, thank you, Trash Panda Bear War Boy. Thank you very much for super chat. Much love. Let's watch some more of these, and then I'll go through that document. How dare the grabblers not let the YouTube work? I'll delete some more of these.
Throwing her bong out of a 36th floor apartment.
Oh, the astronaut's coming up. The astronaut's super weird. It's crazy to me. It seems wild that this isn't working. I'm just closing a bunch of windows, maybe.
Of yet another child star. This is Amanda Bynes we're talking about, formerly of Nickelodeon. Here she is wearing a ratty wig, appearing in court on charges of smoking weed and then throwing her bong out of a 36th floor apartment when police arrived. Bynes insists she is fine, but recent events suggest otherwise. ABC's Gio Benitez is on the story. Gio, sad stuff.
It really is.
Amanda Bynes was my childhood crush.
Denies it all, saying she
never tossed super chat upside down guy myself.
It's a bizarre new case for her growing list of problems, and wait till you see how she showed up in that court.
Without the preparation we had training the team, and so I'd like.
Now, what they're trying to say is she had some UFO encounter and then she came back to give her thing. Now, you could just say she fainted. Yeah, I get it. Whatever. But just watch.
Boy, if that's not a little embarrassing. But, so I don't get people worried standing up here too long. Think what I was going to say, and so I figure I could stand here standing enough. It's a training.
Now, I don't know. I mean, yeah, she, who knows what's going on with that.
Lose again. A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why? Because y'all been lied to. Google lied to you. Facebook lied to you. Radio lied to you. Radio fucked you.
Wow, with the weak word. Yeah, so, and this guy is controlled. This guy is definitely controlled. And then, bam, he's hospitalized. So some say he was cloned after that. I don't know. Or at least replaced. Now, let me come back over here to try to bring some of this together, and then I'm going to go back to a little bit more the Peter Bader guy. So this guy comes out, and I don't want to be too reiterative, but this guy comes out in the 70s. He's like, yeah, so the government's doing this thing, and not to be confused with cloning, where they have been experimenting with cloning, but it's super difficult to do it. And it isn't the most successful. It doesn't have the highest success rate. And that's where you try to basically use like cellular division and stuff, and you replicate something by recreating it. And it basically, you have to replicate it as the form of like a baby, and then it has to grow up. And then you have this other thing that they do where they use the exterior as organic material, and they basically have like a robot. And they just put organic material on the outside of it. And then they integrate the software with basically a hard drive that comes from like the magnetic holography using the acoustic cerebral scan of their brain. And they're able to put a lot of information in there. And then they program the rest of the information. So I don't know why this is hard for people to grasp. It's very realistic, ironically. You would just program the information. First of all, you wouldn't even need something to do with the brain, because you would be like, almost everyone's information is publicly online. Most of these famous people are like sold out, right? These people have access to all their stuff. So you would just program it. Now, if you had to program every little detail of their life, it'd be tedious. Now, you could have algorithms literally just compile all kinds of basic information, basic people that they knew, so they'd recognize people. But they were figuring out how to actually do the scans, the holographic scans back in the day. Now, you got to admit, as a truth seeker, as anybody that can be honest and looks into research diligently, the fact the dude preemptively called out a advanced technology for mapping out the brain like 40 years before it was publicly admitted to be a thing is crazy. And then he specifically calls out a president that if you look into it, like Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter, and it just looks really weird. Now one narrative people have said is that basically they claim people die and then they use them as different characters. So like one of them people said about is like Jimi Hendrix and Morgan Freeman. And they say this about a lot of people. Now what's crazy is, well, what if they just like use the same like prototype, right? Like the same type of body and stuff like that. Okay, anyway, so what I think we're going to do, I think a lot of people may have heard of it. I'm going to show you guys some of a guy named Donald Marshall to kind of wrap this up. Because I'm not going to get into the specifics of all the people. I just don't have time for that. I'll have to do it in another stream. I created a monster. Nobody want to see Marshall no more. They just want shady. I'm chopped liver. Pretty crazy. I wonder what your thoughts on NPCs are, Austin, like filler people or organic portals or non-humans that are just put in to fill space and keep the Matrix illusion going. I don't know. I think that like on a massive scale, something like what we're talking about in this stream on a massive scale would be very hard, because when I've looked into it, there are severe limitations to stuff like this. Like they can't just like take Austin, make a new Austin, then just send him out. He's good to go for decades or something. Like they only last for very short periods of time. They'd have to constantly be making them and replacing them. They're just like robots that malfunction. They have all kinds of glitches. And he was saying that they were pulling it off but they had some glitches back in the day, and that they couldn't do tons of stuff, but they could just replicate simple things. Now, this guy provably had inside sources to the government back then. When I say provably, if you look into him, this is what an actual researcher would do, is they would look into all the other stuff that he had talked about that wasn't publicly known at the time. And then all of a sudden, years afterwards, declassified documents after declassified documents verify what that guy was saying based on his inside sources over and over and over again, right? And so it's like, oh, this guy was a valid resource before anyone else knew the information. He was saying, I have inside resources about this, this, and this, and then all kinds of documents end up coming out verifying it, right? Now, this is one of the things that he claimed. This is like the most out there thing that he claimed. And he was like, I know no one's going to believe this because everything I say is so like point blank legit, no like leaps of logic or anything. And people are going to think this is crazy. But what I'm telling you is specifically what I do know for sure. And I felt that I had to tell you, even though I know I'll lose tons of credibility. And now we look at the stuff he was saying, it isn't so crazy. When people stand for too long with their knees locked, you will pass out. I've seen it happen in high school twice with ROTC students and assemblies. You mean stand too long for like 2 minutes talking? But thank you for the super chat, upside down guy. Yeah, like I just said that, like that one isn't like a huge home run for me. Like the celebrity glitches are really weird. There's a few that are like, that's MK Ultra at least, right? It just doesn't make any sense. Some of them, you know, could just be some other example. But I think that like the Draymond Green and the Beyonce one and the... I even think the Britney Spears one's like demonic or something. It's super weird. The Cardi B one, I think some of these are super weird. Are you still in this idea that they're being shown something? If so, what do you think would be the purpose of trying to show a clone something horrific? They do already control them, right? That is true. So the first time I looked at it, I was thinking, like, I think another possibility is basically they're able to like show them something to scare them, so that if they start to say something or do something, they scare them back into submission. And that's where Cardi B's like. Now you're asking what would be the benefit with doing that to clone? Well, from my understanding, they do program the clone, but they had, as the base, they program them with the personality and memories that they can replicate from the actual person. And so they kind of like imitate human characteristics to an extent. And that they're also kind of like loose cannons. Like they always have to have a handler around them because they may do something wrong. They may like even just attack people. They may say things they shouldn't say. There's an algorithm, but the algorithm's so complex, computing with the information that was put in as the base, that they may kind of like, like go off the path. But when it comes to, do they see something? I think it's interesting. A lot of these people look like they see something. Like Cardi B's like, like she sees something. And then the Wendy, whatever girl wearing the Statue of Liberty thing, like she sees something and gets terrified. So yeah, I think it's possible. But I mean, I'm not exactly positive what's going on. That's my whole thing. I prefaced the whole stream with, I don't know exactly what's going on. I just know something's going on. But thank you for the super chat, Reverse Indoctrination. Much love. Anyone on Rockfan, I'll check them out. Anyone goes to $WitsitGetsIt on Cash App or paypal.me/InnerWorld. I will also check those out at the end of the stream. Okay, so I'm hoping there's like a short clip of Donald Marshall that we can play now. Some of the stuff that Donald Marshall says sounds crazy. I'm not... Like I said, this is just a guy who... Now, he's disappeared. He said that they were going to kill him. I don't know, but he disappeared. That dude had like excruciating detail about some of this, and he says there are these areas where they basically make these clones, and he goes in detail about what they are. We use the word clone, so people are like, that's impossible. You can't clone a person. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Now, I use the word just like I would use the word flat earth. It's like I'm not letting them use this word clone and then give you the definition of cloning so that they can hide whatever they're doing. That's what they do. So they give you the word flat earth, which is not an accurate depiction, right? The topographical stationary plane with a container, right? But so they don't say that. They don't say a stationary topographical plane earth. They say flat earth. I'm not, just so they can dismiss all the validity of what we're talking about. They do the same thing. They do the same thing with this. And they give you these crazy ideas of clones. Now, we could watch movies forever that show you the idea of cloning someone. We just showed you the music video compilation of all these famous people in their videos. They're being made in a lab. They're having a replication of them made. They're putting them in different places. It's weird. We have Britney Spears going and breaking people out of a cloning center that she used to be in. And then all the people that do this, you go look at them in their appearances in the world, and they look crazy. Now, back in the day, back in like the 70s, in the 80s, there wouldn't be near as much of this caught on camera and circulated through the internet, right? So, like, we could get away with a little bit more. And I think what he was saying was the politicians. Has anyone seen the Nancy Pelosi one? There's a whole bunch of things that I have to find. So, like, I don't know if anyone has that clip and can send it to me. Nancy Pelosi just like she says, "Good morning."
Voting.
All right, here it is. I'm just saying, I think they may like fully have like, you see Joe Biden looks different. He doesn't blink. He randomly says different words. I get you can say that he's just old, but you guys should maybe understand that the world is not what you think it is, and it may be crazier than you think it is. But here's Nancy Pelosi. And what does this benefit? It's just so you, what this benefits is like, you definitely shouldn't be like idolizing and worshiping like some freaking computer, right? I mean, that's all there is help wake people up. I know it sounds crazy, but Flat Earth sounded crazy too, you know.
Voting the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a response.
Oh, he's like, what is going on?
Taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Austin, can you prove you don't have a brain trip? You speak questionably fast and your vocabulary seems downloaded. I'm organic, homie. Can I prove I don't have a brain chip? Want you to cut my brain open? She looks like a clown. Yeah, for sure. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna I'm trying to find a short video of Donald Marshall. You can definitely look into Donald Marshall though. It's interesting at the least. Oh, so there's also, of course, I covered this in the last one. There's the rapper who claims that he was cloned, and there's something called Clonaid that literally claimed that they clone people. It's like a real place in Canada that actually takes your money and claims that they clone people. It's just weird, and this rapper claims that he's like speaks like matter of factly that he was like a first gen or he's like a second gen, blah 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 blah. It's called Clonaid. Look into it. Clonaid is real. Look into it. There's all kinds of legislation treating human cloning as a real thing. You have presidents talking about human cloning like it's a real thing. So like that part of it is also interesting to me. Well, my point is that like to handily dismiss the entirety of like fictitious controlled entities being put out on the public scale, the public stage for you to follow via idolatry and to control propaganda where they have full control. Imagine how beneficial this would be to the powers that be, right? Where they sit back and it's like all these politicians and then the top tier actors and musicians. We control those people, like literally, not just with fear, not with threats. We literally controlled them. And they studied the science of this many years ago in MK Ultra, which was, you know, part of like, was it Monarch? And this is, of course, what they all have the butterfly on them, which I showed in the video that we played. Right? They all have the Monarch on them, which is MK Ultra symbol. But like the question is, MK Ultra just limited to like, oh, they put you under hypnosis and give in and program you with trigger words? That's the question. And I think it could be much deeper than that. All right, let me see if I can find Donald Marshall.
Finds out about Marshall, finds out maybe one of his subscribers that need to be thought of when it comes to
Okay, this is not really what I want. I wanted to see like an actual video of him talking. Because a lot of people wanted me to show Donald Marshall. I will. Like I said, Donald Marshall, it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy for sure. Who's looking through the door? No one's looking through the door. That's what I'm going to do. Oh, that's what got me. That's what got me struck, huh? I'll be right back.
You guys have got to try the cold chai. I've had it.
How dare you? I don't like the slow motion repeat thing. I don't know why people do that. All right, close the door just for you, man. Golem. You mean Arwen? Cloning rappers provides the best story for glitches. What do you mean? You mean the song? I can't believe I got struck for that song. Tom, what's up, bro? I thought you said you didn't care. He literally said he didn't care if people played his music, and then here we are getting struck for it. Okay. I'll play part of what this guy says. Like, I'm warning you in advance. It's going to sound kind of crazy, but you guys can hear it. So you can kind of see what's going on. And what I'm also going to do is show part of this for a second. So this is a good link. I'll have to drop this in the Telegram. It's too long to drop. But here are the letters he wrote, right? Here's something he said in one of his letters. My friends, since World War II and before, scientists the world over have been probing for the basic secrets of life itself. The problem I have with Donald Marshall is he claims that he wrote every one of Eminem's song, which really hurts his credibility. Rap God, LOL. Did he claim he wrote all of Eminem's song? I didn't know that. Well, thank you for the super chat, Reverse Indoctrination. I never heard him say he did that. That sounds wild to me. Okay. And in this field, as in others, progress has been much faster than the public has been led to believe. Today, it's common knowledge that heredity is governed by something called genes. Yet barely a generation ago, this relationship was only beginning to be suspected. When it was suggested in 1944 by theoretical physicist Erwin Schrödinger, it was... I always say his name wrong. It was a novel idea, blah, blah, blah. They discovered the molecular structure of DNA, the famous double helix, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole nother like conspiracy and low key, but it's now been over a quarter century since the crucial discovery of the DNA double helix, and since then the research in molecular biology has not been standing still but speeding up. In some cases, research has gone in directions which are deliberately sheltered from publicity because of the fear of public reaction. Not so long ago, for example, universities doing research into artificial microbes found their neighbors in an ugly mood when they found out about it. Test tube babies are now a reality. And that began not long ago in England when the mystery of DNA was first unraveled. Then, of course, there are clones. That is, creatures which are reproduced by artificial means and which are not exact duplicates, which are exact duplicates of an original. And then it has Psalms 139 here. For you have possessed my reins. You have covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows right well. My substance was not hid from you when I was made in secret, and I curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in your book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. Clothes of all kinds of animals have been produced successfully in the lab. This is true, right? You can literally pay to have your dog clone now. I think it's like 50 grand. But that is not what bothers people. Obviously, humans would be more complex. In this recent past, it has been claimed that human clones are also possible and that some may already be in existence. Okay. These last claims about human clones have been ridiculed, denied, and suppressed by all kinds of officials and quote-unquote truthers that think that they are the super woke. The reason is that the idea of duplicate human beings impinges upon a super-secret realm of intelligence activities by both Russia and the U.S. True clones are not involved. But something that bears a superficial resemblance to cloning is going on. And the last thing the powers that be want is for you and the public to have any hint about what is afoot. You can clone your dog for 100K. Yeah, or you can even do it for 50K. This is the part I really wanted people to kind of understand, that this is where I'm at on it too, not just because it says this, because it makes the most sense to me. True clones are not involved, but something that bears a superficial resemblance to cloning is going on, and the last thing the powers that be want is for you, or the powers that be want is for you and the public to have any hint about what is afoot. All right, let's get into it. In Russia, as well in the West, research has been underway for many years in biological synthesis, that is, artificial life forms, and according to High Intelligence, a stunning breakthrough took place in Russia some years ago. The Russians referred to this breakthrough as a providential discovery, something they learned almost by accident. They discovered the key to creating what are known as organic robotoids. An organic robotoid is an artificial robot-like creature. It looks and acts exactly like a human being, and yet it is not human. So this is claimed by this guy so long ago, right? Gotta be fake. Sounds crazy. No way that's real. A robotoid is alive in the biological sense, but it is an artificial life form. Robotoids respond to conventional routine medical tests in the same way as humans do. They eat, they drink, they breathe, they bleed if cut, and they can be killed. Robotoids can also think, but they think only in the sense that a computer thinks. Like any other computer, the brain of a robotoid has to be programmed for each assignment it is given. But unlike many electronic computers, the biological computer brain of a robotoid possesses an enormous memory. As a result, robotoids can be programmed to communicate and think in such complex patterns that they act human. Organic robotoids are remarkable creatures, but they have many drawbacks. They don't grow or reproduce, but must be manufactured one by one in the desired form. They also have a very limited lifespan, measured in months or even weeks, depending upon how they are utilized. This is due to the fact that their metabolism, while it resembles that of humans, is very inefficient. A robotoid can be manufactured on very short notice, a matter of hours, but after a few weeks or months, it suddenly begins to degenerate physically and mentally. And so the idea is potentially some of these are out here kind of in their, like Nancy Pelosi's, that they're kind of, they're already so old when they kind of like keeping them replicating stuff. And so they basically lose mental competence so quickly. When this takes place, the robotoid has to be removed from surface. And I know, I'm not going to keep saying it. Stay open-minded or don't. Be removed from service and disposed of to extend its useful life as much as possible. A robotoid is customarily cooled down to slow its metabolism between assignments. So this dude is hyper specific, and then when you look into some of the claims that he made, it's like, wow, he was like so specific about how they do it, and then come to find out the very technology he claimed that no one knew about and just seems like science fiction is literally the most accurate way that we can do it to this day. That's pretty wild. So what he's claiming is in between uses, they have to cool them down to slow their metabolism. All right, organic robotoids are extremely expensive, troublesome creatures to produce and utilize, and robotoid capabilities do not exceed those of human beings. All they can really do is simulate human beings, but my friends, for intelligent purposes, that's all they have to do. This is part of what we heard earlier. Talk about the music I sent you email regarding paid gig. Okay, I'll check it out. Thank you for the super chat, Whirlwind Music. I'll try to remember to check it out here soon. To produce an organic robotoid, it is necessary to have a pattern to go by. The pattern required is that of genetic coding taken from a few cells from the body of a human being. In this respect, the Russian technique sounds like cloning, but the technique itself is totally unrelated to genuine cloning. A robotoid is produced within a matter of hours, and it simulates the human donor at its current age. Like any man-made copy of anything, a robotoid is never a perfect copy of that human and is to be simulated. There's always small discrepancies in appearance and behavior, but these are seldom great enough to arouse any suspicion. When the initial Russian breakthrough in robotoids took place years ago, the Rockefeller-Soviet alliance was still functioning. The Christian group who now rule Russia were already secretly more powerful than the Bolsheviks, but the final overthrow had yet to take place. So then he says Jimmy Carter here. And a lot of people say that these were like different people, right? Well, what if it's actually something like what's being said here, which, you can see how if anything like this was going on, you can see how well it works because like you got to fight even truthers to even like consider it. Sounds like Neuralink. Similar, yeah. Periodically, there will be small changes in his appearance and behavior as one robotoid wears out and is replaced by another. And by listening to the Carter robotoid, you can get some hints about what the Kremlin's up to. Last month, I revealed that an intelligence war of doubles had erupted in the U.S. President Carter, Vice President and their wives had fallen victim to this war of doubles as their Easter breaks away from Washington were ending. Now, I'm sorry to report that Amy Carter, Billy Carter, Lillian Carter, and Hugh Carter all died soon after Jimmy and Rosalind did. All of them, including Amy, have been replaced by doubles. But instead of the Bolshevik doubles who have been waiting in the wings, those we are seeing are Russian organic robotoids. Pretty crazy claim, for sure. Says the voice of Jimmy Carter is a double. All right. By the time I recorded audio letter number 45, there was another Carter robotoid making the rounds. This one, Jimmy Carter number 3. Now, this is what people need to understand. This guy did not, I want to come over here. This guy didn't say, it doesn't talk like this, okay? This isn't one of those guys that just say crazy things all the time. This isn't some guy that just like gets up there and just constantly says the most outlandish, wild conspiracies. He didn't do that at all. He sounds like such a founded, like by the books, here's all the resources and facts. This is specific. This is so out of left field for him to come out and say. And that's what's so interesting about it. That combined with the fact that he said it so much earlier than the information was verified, and the efficacy of how he facilitated information before this, it makes you understand that you at least need to look into it, because there seems to be potentially something here. I think that's kind of the point. So he goes through some of them, who they are specifically. I don't know if you guys would rather hear him read it or me read it. Here he goes into the specifics of different people. In the past 2 or 3 months, I've focused attention on the Rothschilds and their bid for renewed power, and as if on signal, the Dr. Bader audio letter is now under attack supposedly by anti-Rothschild groups. False opposition, my friends, is a trick even older than the Machiavelli. The hate campaign now underway will do its damage, but it will not stop the audio letter. My employer is our Lord Jesus Christ, and my audio letter series will not end until it is time to end. This month, I am beginning the 5th letter of my audio letter. 5th year of my audio letter. Okay, let's see this. The Dynamics of Change, Francis Strickland. Under the heading Man-Machine Symbiosis. Computers exist which can learn, remember, see, seek goals, reason, walk, sing on key, talk, be irritable, play games, grasp, adapt to an environment, and even design improvements in themselves. Finally, under the heading Human Robots. An electron circuit that imitates 2 neurons, the cells of the human brain, has been built and has enabled a robot to deal with some unexpected situations. But the neuron structure was bulky. The brain has billions of neurons, meaning an incredible miniaturization job will be necessary before truly human robots are developed. Dude, now one thing we know for sure is we've been able to miniaturize computing and processing to an insane degree since this was done. Right. The developments that were destined to lead to Russia's breakthrough in robotoid brain research began 32 years ago in 1947. So this is from Russian documents from 47, and they're talking about how the problem is that it's so bulky. Well, what do you think is going on potentially in 2022, right? Like, you got to be honestly, like, you have to be a coincidence there to not think anything could happen. So Dr. Guinness Gaber conceived of a way to make 3-dimensional photographs called holograms. It was revolutionary scientific discovery, and it was designed to lead to the Nobel Prize for Dr. Gaber. He did not receive the prize until 24 years later in 1971. By then, holograms were a reality in numerous laboratories worldwide, and yet most members of the general public still had not heard of holography. And even today, more than 3 decades after Dr. Gaber's original discovery, holography is still unfamiliar to the public as a whole. Last month, I revealed that the Russians can manufacture organic robotoids, which are almost exact carbon copies of real human beings. This is done by a process that simulates the genetic coding of the person to be copied. It sounds a little like cloning, but it's not. A clone of a human would be itself a human, but an organic robotoid is not human. It's an artificial life form, like an animal in some ways, but a computerized machine in others. Every Russian robotoid has what is called a holographic brain. This brain duplicates essentially the entire memory of a person being copied. All right, now what I'm going to play for you guys for a second, then we'll come back and look through some of this. Here you go. Using high-frequency sound waves, which are inaudible, a complete 3-dimensional picture is made of a person's brain. This is painless, non-destructive process, and under the proper conditions, it can be done without the person even being aware of it. Now, this is in a reality now and was thought of to be crazy woo-woo back when he was talking about it, and I just now showed it to you guys. The Brain Initiative, just go to it. Let's see what else we got here. Anyway, actually, maybe when I play this video, I'll get. Maybe that's what'll break through some cognitus for you guys, is seeing all the medical journals. I mean, I would think that you guys kind of would just be able to put that part together, but. All right, now I don't know how good this is specifically, so if it's no good, we'll turn it off. I don't really know, but we're going to listen to part of this. I did listen to part of it back in the day. He makes crazy claims, take the good with the bad. Maybe he knows some things, maybe he's still confused. Even if what he is saying is true, like he actually has some experience like somewhat similar to this, he would be super confused as to what's going on, right? So that's what we're going to go. Keep reading the Sure, I'm gonna keep reading. I'll keep reading the list in a second. I want to see what. Let's hear. Let some people hear a little bit of what Donald has to say.
It's about those reptilian shapeshifters that David Icke talks about. He's kind of got the story wrong. They're not dimensional at all. They're this dimension, and yeah, they're not spiritual, mystical, or anything. It's pretty sick. But I'll tell you about that in a second. First, I wanted to tell you about the cloning stuff. Okay, now human cloning, I have to tell you, it's been done since at the end of World War II. Okay, I'll tell you how they got it and the whole shebang, like 33rd degree Freemason knowledge. I'm probably going to die for this somewhere along the lines.
And of course, he has been gone for some years now.
It's not good. Okay. Picture this. I'm memory repressed about everything. Couldn't remember anything. I'm still getting side effects from this. I was memory repressed about the cloning stuff until I was 30 years old. They call it the awakening when they give you back the memories. Turns out they had me there since I was 5 years old, okay? And my family is there, my family members and everything, and they said they're not going to lie on a lie detector test about it. It's pretty big. Like, they were going to kill me, they said. Thing is, the way that this cloning works, okay? There's two different kinds of cloning, and it confuses people. Now, there's replication cloning, where it comes up as a baby, right? Put the cells in, make the same person as a baby. Well, there's duplication cloning as well, where they grow you in a big, thick tank full of water. And, well, there's a few different grades of cloning. There's Mark 1 to 4 that I know of. And the problem I'm having is with the Mark 2. Thing is, Mark 1 was around at the end of the World War II, but it was a primitive clone, lots of side effects. Anyway, this is even on the net. Before I started blasting on the net about this, somebody said something about the Mark 1 to 4 clones, and the first one being called the organic robotoid, and that's what it was called, even though there's no robotic parts in it at all. Anyway, Mark 2 is an REM-driven clone, okay? Now, what that means is when you go to sleep, the Illuminati, this is their main form of communication, too. They don't call people on the phone. They don't meet at the Bohemian Grove anymore. Since they got cloning, they meet at the cloning station when they go to sleep. Each of them, I don't know how they do it exactly, okay, or else I'd know how to block it. But they can transfer your consciousness into a clone at the cloning station if they have a clone of you. And they used to have to use a tissue sample from you, or I guess they...
From what I've heard from your statements, I believe you should do more research into the world wars. I can almost guarantee I've done more than you have. I know all about in-depth World War II, for example. I know all about it. Yeah. So what I've found is a lot of people, they always say I need to do more research into something, and almost every time they say that, like, they're wrong. But I don't know. I certainly, there are things I don't know for sure, but World War II is not one of them.
They said
let me guess, I should completely just get my entire channel deleted to appease you, though.
Cells from a woman's pap smear is like really rich in the cells to make one of these duplicate clones. They used to use kids' foreskins that were discarded at the hospital that got removed. That's what happened to me. But now they said they've upgraded the technology in the last 10 years, so now they only need blood. What they used to do with the tissue, well, they could also, they used to set this little oil drill looking thing over a person's forearm, strap their arm to a chair. And this drill, it had things on it that opened up, right? Now, it would go in, and when it spun, these things would open up. But then when it stopped, the things would close again. Now, this is done, it goes in, comes out, in, comes out. And what it was doing, it has to agitate the tissue, they told me when I was a kid, to a certain degree. I guess, like they said, the easiest way to tell a person in layman's terms about it is, when you have a hangnail and you pull it off, and the white stuff that accumulates inside, and eventually it'll form like a scab and new skin, and it'll grow over. Well, to get that white stuff to really work good.
I'm sorry, this guy Max and Max Spears comes off as ridiculous. All right, man, fair enough. Great stream, brother. For those without pattern recognition, these types of streams can be a bit wild. Have you thought about the recent advancement of technology come from the rituals that Jack Parson and Crowley did? That's pretty interesting. I don't know if I thought about the recent advancement. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Like, you're saying you know specifics, or like speculating as to what the advancement of them would be. I don't know, but thank you for the super chat, John H. Greatly appreciated. Much love, bro. Like I said, I said at the beginning, like take the good, leave the bad, or whatever. Just play a few more minutes of it and then give my take.
Good. They agitate the tissue a certain amount of times. Now they just agitate blood from like a blood sample even. And yeah, cloning is very prevalent. It's like a secret thing among the like elite. They use it for their crazy stuff. You name it, they've done it. Like jump off cliffs, everything. I know all about it. The thing was, when I was memory repressed, I was seeing other people becoming unmemory repressed, and I hated this place and these people. It's a bunch of scumbags doing nasty things to each other, right? Like, there's privileged ones there, and there's underprivileged ones there, and so people are pretty mean on people, and, well, I wanted them to do the...
Okay, anyway, so he has quite a bit of content in interviews where he goes in depth and he talks about they have these cloning centers, a bunch of different like disposable versions, and they're able to like experience stuff through them. But they're able to turn the petting threshold down or whatever, and they can experience it while not actually being inside it or whatever. I don't know. It sounds crazy. Like I said, I don't know all about it, but like I don't know how real it is. I don't have a lab with millions of dollars to see if this is possible, and I would never do it anyway. But like, what he claims is, just like with Westworld, they're able to go live out this fantasy, but say they like battle to the death or something. Like there's no actual damage. It's just a disposable, like synthetic little robotoid that dies. So they don't really care. And that this is a way that they like basically that they think they're part of this awesome club where they're able to live this fantasy world via science. And this is why a bunch of them believe in Scientology, where the science gives them this ability to basically play God, where they can like do all kinds of crazy stuff, but they don't have to experience it with their physical body. And it's a crazy idea for sure. He has a lot of details, and it's just interesting at the least. So what I want to do though, real fast, because I see like some people are kind of like in denial of this, it seems. We're gonna look at some of these. Some of the medical reports. I saw someone say, always post the medical reports. Okay, so here you go right here. Holography applications toward a medical field. Using a holographic image, doctors can improve the quality of medical education and research. Okay, let's see the next article we got here. 3D functional photoacoustic imaging of human brain with a stretchable ultrasound matrix array. Okay, interesting. See what else we got here. I'm not going to read through the medical papers. I did that last time. Acoustic holograms for bilateral blood-brain barrier opening in a mouse model. Very interesting. What else we got here? 3D printed acoustic holograms could help therapeutics overcome the blood-brain barrier. Oh, how interesting. 2022. Wow, this guy was saying it in 79, though, but probably didn't have any idea what he was talking about. Okay, let's see this. The acoustic holograms reportedly allow for a more controlled opening. Dude, get off of me. Of the blood-brain barrier than achieved by exclusively making use of the ultrasound. Most significantly, they can correct the aberrations introduced by the skull while also generating an ultrasonic multifocal beam within particularly important brain structures. Oh wow, okay, pretty interesting. What else we got here? And yeah, this should remind you of maybe like Neuralink, where he says, oh, they can actually use inoculation to bypass the blood-brain barrier, but it's all about getting past the blood-brain barrier and able to intercept neural exchanges. So acoustic holograms enable efficient selective opening of the blood-brain barrier. Oh, wow. Crazy. 2022. What else we got here? Numerical study of acoustic holograms for deep brain targeting through the temporal bone window. Oh, wow. 2022. Okay. Interesting. I don't know how many of these I would need to show you. You could go all day, though. That's why I gave you the Brain Institute. You can go to the Brain Institute. They have all kinds of stuff. It'll blow your mind. There is no blood-brain barrier, dude. Okay. The convention that they call blood-brain barrier is certainly utilized in messing with people's brain. First in vivo demonstration of bilateral blood-brain barrier opening using acoustic holograms in mice, which is similar to that other study. Massively parallel, high-speed, 3D functional photoacoustic computed tomography of the adult human brain. Wow, that's pretty crazy, huh? Massively parallel, high-speed, 3D functional acoustic computed tomography of the adult human brain. See, again, this is on the Brain Initiative. This is clearly a real technology. Look, in fact, if you go down here, I gotta find the right link here. Oh, here's Caltech talking about it. Oh, it's a PDF. Here, there you go. All kinds of papers about it right here. High frequency 3D photoacoustic computed tomography using optical resonator. Looking deep inside tissue with a photoacoustic. Now, this is the thing. It'll tell you in specifics in the Brain Initiative information. Photoacoustic vector tomography for deep hemodynamic imaging. So they're able to get like very intricate. Here, let me also do this for you. Very intricate imaging done of the human brain using this very technology that this guy talked about. And I looked for what's the oldest you can find the information. You guys go try to help me out. I think you can find something else, but I haven't been able to find anything else from way back in the day like that. And again, just to show you guys this again, so you guys can get an idea of what we're talking about exactly. It's going to render an image here. And so they map out the brain as best as they can, which they definitely will never be able to fully map out consciousness. That's why, like I said, you have to take the Donald Marshall guy with a grain of salt. A lot of people wanted my opinion on him. That is my opinion. You got to take a grain of salt. Let me come over here and kind of. So the Donald Marshall guy, like, it's a huge rabbit hole, right? And you can, like, he says a lot of crazy stuff. And it's like he's saying he's real consistent. And what it seems like is he really believes what he's saying. Now, I think he's dead now, honestly. I mean, no one's heard of him. And if even half of what he's saying is true, then he's dead. But it's crazy because he even admits, he's like, to be honest, though, like, I could be wrong about a lot of what I interpret as to what exactly is going on because they mess with me so much. You know, he's like, I'm pretty positive about this and this. I know they do this and this and this, but he's like I said, like, I was memory suppressed for a long time and I'm just starting to recognize and remember all this, and who knows? But I know one thing, that it's not the craziest idea ever that, like, these elite have some, like, gigantic secret technology that they utilize that they don't let the masses know about. But they get these, like, pawns and these puppets to come over, and they kind of give them a taste of this technology and stuff like that, interior knowledge, and then they think that, dude, I know people personally, right, like, that have been memory suppressed, due to like a ritualistic abuse, like SRA and stuff. And so that's super real. And then like normally around the age of 30 is when they start to be able to get their memory back. And this is why I'm saying it's not always MK Ultra is not, and SRA combined with MK Ultra is not going to be like a long-term fix. You know, it's not like 100%. People start to regain their memory. So consciousness is not contained in your flesh. Yeah, exactly. I don't believe what he's saying about the like he's saying you can transfer your consciousness. I think that you could experience something in your mind based on, like, if you put a chip in your brain, I think that you could experience something. And that's what I was kind of trying to say back in the day. I think they chipped them. They chipped them like how they chip animals, you know? And I think that once you get chipped, they can do crazy stuff. They can like make you see stuff. They can like make you shut down. And this may explain plenty of it. But I think they also may flirt with replacements for like major political figures, where it's just like you just have to see them for 20 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes, and just replace them. Well, I mean, dude, if you watch, you would be like, they wouldn't do that. You'd be able to tell they'd walk weird and stuff. Dude, have you seen Joe Biden walk around in some of these videos? He walks like a robot. They do, like, the thing is, the most like really, really woke base truthers, they don't keep up with like famous politicians. Like I don't watch politicians and stuff like that. So I'm not going to like look for this or even think of this or look for those people or keep up with them. The people that are obsessed with these people and idolize them and stuff, they're so brainwashed and so far away from accurate pattern recognition. They're not going to notice anything like this. And just the mere idea of this, right? Like this is worse than flat earth almost, right? Like how dare someone talk about the idea of cloning or organic robotoids? The term itself sounds insane, that you even have truthers freaking out in my chat. Like you definitely aren't going to have like normies ever even dare entertain the idea publicly. So there's that. Okay, let's read some more here. Use high frequency sound waves. Hopefully this is going to not mess everything up. And it did. Okay. The rabbit holes run deep. True that. Thank you for the super chat, Ron Diggity Preppa. A lot of people get triggered out though, the instead of the ER. How dare you? Okay, as a result, a Carter robotoid would automatically do certain things without the need for specific programming. For example, a Carter robotoid will seem to recognize old friends. That's because the computer memory of the robotoid reproduces Carter's memories of that friend. I should be able to do this. Maybe it'll be a little more engaging. Them zoning out, etc. All points to a high possibility. It's just there's something going on. Rappers get killed all the time for talking about cloning. That's another crazy part too, is that a lot of people talk about this stuff and then die or just suddenly change and get quiet and walk stuff back. And, you know, oh, what do we got? We got, oh, the picture popped up. Yeah, see, like I said, this is literally Nicki Minaj's tweet. I mean, that's weird. You got to admit it's kind of weird, but I guess you don't have to admit anything. Let me get this image off the screen for you. The holographic process puts it there automatically without the Russian programmers even having to know it's there. Organic robotoids are such amazing creatures that they are still subject of questioning and debate. This is true even among the Russian scientists who made them a reality. For example, robotoids seem to have no true instinct for self-preservation. In this regard, they act like machines, simply doing as they are told to do. By contrast, both humans and animals generally have the instinct for self-preservation. Robotoids can be programmed for self-preservation, but they are equally willing, if willing is the word, to perform suicide missions, exploratory one-way trips into space. Wow. I've only one example of this. I'm not reading anything of your. If a space mission looks too dangerous to risk the life of an experienced cosmonaut, a robotoid can be used now. The robotoid copy of the cosmonaut is already trained the moment it's made, thanks to its holographic memory. I would say it would be crazy, the idea of like trying to shoot something up in the sky, because I don't know what's actually going up in the sky. I just know that outer space, the way they say, is all fake. The United States now, and I'm not saying like I said, this guy says he has inside information. And so what you found out, if you actually look into it, tons of people in the government truly believe there's like compartmentalization about extraterrestrial creatures and stuff like that, and super space programs, because the government's so brilliant the way they've done it. It's so compartmentalized that they just, like, who's that guy that came out and talked about UFOs? He was on Joe Rogan. He talked about how it was like archaeological discoveries that they reverse engineered. I forgot his name. You guys probably know his name. Either way, debate with Bryant, it really is October. I don't know what that means. Like he's like, look, man, the way that they get us to do stuff, they tell us all these crazy stories, like from this galaxy, this far away, and like he's like, you can tell a lot of it's a lie, that they feed us all these false narratives and lies so that we stay super compartmentalized and we don't know what we're really working on. And I found out it's actually archaeological discoveries that we were reverse engineering, like ancient civilizations tech. And that should kind of explain what I'm saying here. This guy's getting inside information, and so like, how does he know what all is true and what is not? Eddie Bravo, Bob Lazar, that's it. Bob Lazar, exactly. All right, letter 50. When I first revealed these things, I braced myself. I knew that many of my listeners would be unable to absorb them. But my reason for doing it was the one I stated then. Without knowing about the robotoids, events would become impossible to understand. Since that time, robotoids in key positions of power have been causing many surprises in the news these days. The strangest surprises of all have been caused by the Jimmy Carter robotoids. In audio letter 48, 2 months ago, I detailed the major instability problems that the Russians are having with their Carter robotoids. The holographic computer brains of the robotoids include instabilities which were present in the real Carter brain in a way that exaggerates those instabilities. Like, imagine trying to replicate Biden then, right? As a result, every so often, a Carter robotoid does something so unpredictable that it is dangerous to the Russians. An example was the famous so-called killer rabbit incident of a few weeks ago. A Carter robotoid told the press in all seriousness that he and his family had been attacked by a swamp rabbit while fishing. Can you imagine? So that kind of makes sense too, where you see people shut down and say the craziest, stupidest stuff in the middle, like, oh, good morning, Sunday morning. You know, it's like, dude, there's something weird going on. Like, that's not human behavior. I don't care how stupid they are. I don't care if they're drunks. I don't care how sunken in depravity they are. That's not like human behavior. It's weird. Like, good morning. Like that, what? It's weird. The stuff they're doing where they just like stare off. And to me, I feel that something kind of weird is going on, but I'm not presenting this to people to feel afraid or be fearful. Or I'm not saying I know exactly what's going on or like everyone is fake. And I'm just saying like it's for the higher level of truther that's ready to kind of realize, but also has enough wisdom to not run 0 to a million, just like the transvestigation people. You run around because like clearly Michelle Obama's a dude, right? So like when you run around and you call every single celebrity like the opposite sex, you make us look bad. And it's the same thing with this. Like if you go around and you claim you know for sure that all these people are clones or whatever, like you're gonna make the truth look bad, and that's why they give you the word clone, and that's why they do this. They give you these narratives and they set you up, basically. Truth or traps in the world. All right. We're going to move on past the Carter thing. You guys can look into it. There's interesting stuff with the Jimmy Carter thing for sure. Ronald Reagan and Jimmy Carter. They have no self-preservation instinct, so Carter robotoid number 14 was programmed to run like the wind. So, I mean, the amount of specificity this guy's offering is pretty insane. So, that's what I would say. It's a politician's tricks diverting the conversation. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm not sure what that means. You called out Big Mike. Yeah, of course. If the robotoid died before aid could reach him, everyone would just accept it as a tragic accident, and the Russian would be rid of the problem of the unstable Carter robotoids. But the day of the race dawned cooler than it had been expected by the planners. Carter robotoid 14 did not collapse. That's crazy. I do. Like I said, I'll drop this, but a bunch of like claims here for sure. Like this doesn't prove anything, but it's very interesting. The reason that I think it's interesting is you can go look into, I don't want to keep saying this, but Like, go look into the claims that this guy made and how long ago he made them, and then how much you can actually validate of the stuff he said. And you're like, wow, this is getting crazy. Like, how did this guy know all that so many years before anyone knew it? How was he so right about all this stuff? And he comes out of left field talking about this, right? Like, because this seems so wild, right? And if this guy was constantly talking about aliens around the world, greys, and all these different races, and oh, watch out, and oh, and this planet, and this galaxy cluster over here, and all these crazy, stupid, oh, you know, every single person in charge is a reptilian shape-shifting, blah, 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 and stuff that just like, if this was his norm, I mean, it's not at all. This is not the kind of stuff that he talked about at all. How can you prove you're not a robotoid? Because I'm just an actual normal person that's been alive this whole time in a world. I could show my belly button. I made a baby. Night, y'all. Good night, bro. Much love. That reminds me, actually, I'm going to wrap this up in just a second. So I'm going to read a little bit more of this letter. A Rothschild synthetic is similar to a Russian robotoid in certain ways. So he's saying that basically they competed with Rothschilds. So the Rothschild interests, which control both movements, have for many years been deeply involved in biological research of all kinds. No, not the Rothschilds. They have not succeeded in learning the secrets of the Russian robotoids, but they have achieved success with something similar. They are called synthetic automatons, or simply synthetics. A Rothschild synthetic is similar to a Russian robotoid in certain ways. Each is an artificial life form designed to simulate a human being. But synthetics also differ from robotoids in important ways. For one thing, they are generated by radically different techniques. Both utilize genetic samples from actual humans as their starting point. Beyond that, everything is different. The Russian process is a close relative of recombinant DNA techniques involving bacteria. The details of the process are shrouded in great secrecy, but it enables robotoids to be generated from scratch very rapidly. The Rothschild's process, by contrast, does not start from scratch. Instead, certain tissues extracted from cattle are the starting point. Wow. The synthetic is then generated in a process that changes the genetic makeup in order to simulate a person being copied. It is the outgrowth of a discovery made 20 years ago in France. The experiment involved two species of ducks called khaki Campbells and white pecans. The landmark duck experiment of 1959 was reported in a book titled The Biological Time Bomb. By Gordon Rattray Taylor. It was published in 1968 by the New American Library, New York, New York. Taylor described the experiment in his words, quote, "They had extracted DNA from the cells of khaki Campbells and had injected them into the white pecans, thinking that just possibly the offspring of the latter might have some character derived from khaki Campbells. To their astonishment, the actual ducks they injected began to change. Their white feathers darkened, and their necks began to take on the peculiar curve, which is a mark of a khaki Campbell." Anyway, very interesting stuff. Like I said, this is pretty long. This is a bunch of the letters. So I wanted to kind of give you guys a look into the possibility. So here you go. They show the idea that like Obama looks like the Pharaoh from back in the day, and of course Michelle's a dude though. So anyway, you got Michael Jackson looking like this Pharaoh, and I don't know, like I don't really know how real this could be. I'm not gonna lie. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but I think it's very possible something's going on here. Plastic surgery has been done to help touch up the doubles. Yeah, the Wizards of the Zoo, you're basically like omnipotent. You know all things. Basically, what I'm saying here is very, very point blank and simple. If a dude in 1979, I'm gonna say it one more time, and I don't care about anyone that's like super woke or whatever, because I'm gonna wrap this up. I think it's been like 3 hours stream. All right. If a guy in 1979 came out and he had made like 100, 200 different random specific predictions and claims about what was going on inside our government and the CIA and FBI and with other countries and all kinds of stuff. And then almost all of his claims are verified years later, even some after he passed, where the documented like the government admits via declassified documents, a lot of the stuff he's saying is true consistently. He was super valid. He makes a claim that the governments are actually using something called synthetics or organic robotoids, where they use people and replicate this little robot that can only last for a couple weeks. It degrades. It's not super efficient, and it can only like sort of mimic like the memories and the reactions of people psychologically, right? And all that they're doing is putting organic material over top of a robot. And he says this is how they use it. They use supersonic cerebral imaging, acoustic imaging. And they're able to map out the brain intricately enough that they can actually transfer via a drive some type of memory and computing similarities, like verbal speech patterns and body mechanics and stuff like this. And then they're able to also program it on top of that. What that they like don't last very long. They have poor metabolism, and so when they just put them out in the public for a second, they take them out and they try to cool them down and keep them there. It sounds crazy, but it would be so beneficial for the elite to do this. And then when you start to look into really famous people that have tons of control, Eminem's considered like the greatest rapper ever, right? And he came out, he was just bucking the system, talking about how stupid the government is, all this. Then he comes out and he's just like pushing the leftist narratives and all this. Like, that's not, like back in the day, Eminem wasn't nothing like that. He comes back, completely changes. His rap is completely different. All of a sudden, his rap is literally different. And then he comes around talking about like all the leftist talking points, you know? And it's just weird. It's weird because you in that hypothetical scenario, you can see the benefit that would be gained by using some character like Eminem to push what you want. Now, we all know the basics. Like the idea is that they... See, one thing that's never clicked with me is it's not like they don't have full control of these people night to day. I've actually talked to certain people that have big connections. What happens is they get so far in, they make certain agreements. Some of them do sketchy stuff. Maybe they agree to let something happen to one of their family members. They did some weird ritual. They saw something they shouldn't have seen, but they never said anything. They can't say anything, and now they're in too deep. So, right, they just kind of live their life, and they want to enjoy it the most they can and stay under the radar and just kind of do what they got to do, but they occasionally get a call, told what to say, told what to walk back, told what they're not allowed to talk about, and that will control them for the most part. But then someone gets to where they're like, you know what, forget it, burn it to the ground, I'm going to come out here and speak. And what do they do in that moment? Now, the idea is that they would kill them, but if they killed everyone, like if they wouldn't kill B.O.B., that would have backfired. Everyone would listen to his music. So now we're understanding that there seems to be evidence that most of us had not heard of, that this very educated, like respected, credible source from back in the day would always release letters like every week. And all the stuff he was saying was super credible and had been verified over and over and over and over. And he claims a certain type of technology that no one knew about that now, just in the last 4 to 5 years, has come out as the top tier, most efficient way to map the brain intricately. Dude, you got to admit that's weird. How did he know about it? He just knew about that? It's like, this is what people won't address that. It's just like when I'm talking to a baller, and I make my argument, I present it to them. They'll talk to me for 3 hours, wanting to just try to show me how smart they are and how much they know about something over here unrelated to what I'm saying, but they won't address the actual point. And so that's called sophistry, and I don't care. I'm not here to like try to convince like a truther. I'm here to just like ladle the gravy, sprinkle some seeds. I'm still figuring it out. I'm not even making claims about this. I will say, I thought cloning was the stupidest thing ever. I'm like, there's no way that's possible. Only the creator, only the father can make humans. And I still think only the creator can make like genuine humans, of course. But like with spirits and souls or whatever you want to call them, like with the actual true genuine spirit. But I'm now to the point where I started looking into it. It's public information that can make like robots, and they give you these really stupid looking robots. So you think, oh, that's the best we have. If they're now showing you for like the last 7 years on national television, these like human looking robots, right, that look pretty poor, then that means that the government can make a more realistic looking robot. It's just objective. The government is always many years ahead of the public technologically. So they're now showing you robot looking humans. And they'll cut open their head and they'll show you the back of it. They talk to you. They interact with you. Now, one thing that they don't do is they'll never go show you like a human robot of Nicki Minaj or something. Now, the idea that they could be doing this isn't that far-fetched. And then the guy that was making the claims is now being scientifically validated with medical information and technology. The blood-brain barrier doesn't work. It doesn't exist. And No, I know everything about DNA. Dude, I don't care where you worked. You do not know everything about DNA or cells. 100% know for a fact that you don't at all. I've already researched that little spell. Anyone that thinks they knows everything about a cell and about DNA and about genes is lying. They don't. And so the idea that there's no way that some person way higher up in the military compartmentalization or private corporations or DARPA or anything like that would possibly know more than you think you know about DNA. Okay, you're right, bro. Earth's probably a ball too, you know? I'm like, whatever. So, I'm just trying to help you guys out in the sense that I think there's something here. I see pattern recognition. I'm not making super extraordinary claims in the sense that I know it sounds like I am, but I'm not. I don't. The cloning thing seems crazy. Like the idea of like taking a human and making like a direct duplication or replication of that human and like with cells itself. And like, so like some claim that you can take the cells and then you can introduce electricity, like introducing like effectively the spark, and you can actually make it grow. Now we know that they can do like, you can be like a homegrown baby, right? They can do that. And so I'm not reading paragraphs in my chat, bro. Sorry about it, man. So they can do crazy stuff, right? They can do crazy stuff like test tube babies and surrogates. And so they are playing with stuff they shouldn't be playing with. They're able to do stuff that they shouldn't be able to do. And this is what actually happened before the flood. They were messing with genetics. They were messing with like mankind and replicating and mixing and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And that's what ended up happening that resulted in the flood, right? And some will tell you that the way they interpret it is when it says Noah was pure, it's like pure genetics. Noah was the only pure one left. Like his family and him were the only pure ones left. Like pure blood, pure genetics. And so that's very interesting when you're now looking at what's going on. What's going on with me being spammed, bro? What a joke. So, like the days of Noah, will so it be in the end. And if you don't read, you won't learn. I'm doing a live stream. You're just some random anonymous person on the internet spamming my chat with novels in the middle of my live streams trying to coherently talk to people. I will just block you if you keep getting on my nerves. So, anyway, to try to not be in such a low vibration as the gamma in the chat, what I'm trying to explain to everyone is like, yo, there's information. This is kind of what has happened in the past, okay? And that's what the whole stream's about. The whole stream is like, dude, these like crazy people that are evil, they've had an infatuation of messing with like genetics for a long time, right? And there's a lot of evidence for them being able to kind of mess around with stuff. So that's all. Dude, what is up with people spamming me, bro? I don't have no mods in here to help me out. I'm going to shut the stream down. People coming here just spamming like all kinds of crazy stuff. Can you do a episode on the sun? Main reason people I know won't accept flat Earth. If people can't accept physical empirical measurements that falsify the radius of an alleged sphere because they can't understand perspective, then but yeah, I may do one at some point. That bot is everywhere. Yeah, it's getting on my nerves. Anyway, I'm sorry about like kind of even addressing some of the negative stuff, but I hope that you guys, oh yeah, I'll make you a mod. Okay, I can make you a mod too, but this is what I'm going to say to both of you, okay? I'm already thinking about like slimming down my mods because people are getting ban happy. Like they're banning people just because they don't like what they say or something. Like I don't want this place to be an echo chamber where everyone gets banned or something. All right, like that's not what I want. I don't approve of that at all. And if people start doing that, then, you know, I'm not cool with it. Here we go again. Someone's spamming it. Like, I wonder who's doing this. Crazy, yo. Alright, anyway, see, this is the only problem. Like, sometimes, like, when I'm trying to, like, really talk about something, I just have to kind of ignore the chat. That's what I should do. Everyone thinks that they deserve, like, full, like, unimpeded attention for hours. I should sit here and just read their chat, I guess. I've never been anyone yet. Yeah, nice, bro. You shouldn't. Like, people overly ban people. It really kind of gets on my nerves, you know. All right, so basically, in conclusion, I'll play a couple of the little videos that we played to end it out. But yeah, like there's something going on. We watch all of these celebrities like glitch out and do crazy stuff. And, you know, like I don't want to be too reiterative. We covered a bunch of the possibilities. Like, yeah, people on drugs and stuff, that's not, no. Demonic possession, MK Ultra, maybe. If there's a chip put in their brain, if they agree to putting a chip in their brain back in the day, then maybe they're able to just, you know, hijack their brain, make them see things, do all kinds of crazy stuff. Their brain controls all things. So you could make someone see something. And that's definitely a possibility. But when we have evidence of claims like this being verified 4 decades later when it comes to hyper-specific technological claims, and then someone can listen to it for hours but never address that part of it, it's cognitive dissonance, intellectual insecurity. Because I get it, this sounds crazy. One thing is for sure, I don't really suffer from that. I have a lot of problems like I need to work on, but like, you know, lack of confidence intellectually is not one of them, right? I don't care if someone thinks this is crazy. Something's going on here, and they have an obsession with the manipulation of genetics, and it seems like they've been doing this behind the scenes at the least for a few decades now. Some claim is that this has been going on for a long time. Some claim, like, for example, that electricity and stuff that they discovered was just ancient technology, and maybe they discovered certain technology like this. Some would say fallen tech, right? Like the guy said earlier. And maybe they're just kind of like piecing it back together, or they utilize that behind the scenes. But you can see the use case here. Either way, one thing for sure to be taken out of this is you shouldn't be idolizing anyone. You shouldn't be idolizing and following these people if they are really propped up on the mainstream stage and they're put into positions to make you say all kinds of stuff, to think all kinds of things, and they have loud voices propped up during important subjects. You should ignore them. Like, you shouldn't be following them anyway. But the idea that it's like a very intricate, like programmed facilitation of information is next level, right? And just like the days of Noah, it'll be like that in the end. And I think that we might be kind of seeing that happen. So hopefully you guys enjoy the stream. I know it was kind of all over the place. Sorry for how much I entertained the chat at times. I should just ignore people. But like I said, overall, my premise is the same. Like, it's just to kind of show you that some of this may not be as crazy as you think it is. It's hard to make it the most coherent when you're trying. That's why I said episode 1, like, where maybe I can make very specific, like something sketchy going on, what'll break people's cognitive. Because I guess what I need to realize is Kai and I did a lot of this, where we were looking through the specifics of each story and then the differences, and like really intricately checking out like how different people were and the tattoos were moving. And it's like, why is this dude's tattoo somewhere else? Why is that? How does that? Can someone explain that? Right? Like, why is this dude's tattoo changing? Why is Dave Chappelle's cousin saying that he left? They definitely took him out. That's a clone. I used to talk to him every day. We were best friends. I haven't talked to him since. And when the one time that I tried to talk to him, he wasn't available. And then they put him on the phone for a second, and it was not the same Dave. And I haven't talked to him since all that happened. They took him out. Now it's all anecdotal. Any type of lie like this would be, right? But you can't prove everything. It doesn't mean that there's nothing there. And that's a very ignorant way to look. Like, yeah, sure, if you go around making definitive claims, you should have like definitive evidence. But so anyway, it's just for food for thought, basically. Some people not hungry, man. They think they're already full. True idolatry, should have broke it up. Oh, that wasn't too great. Great, interesting research stream. Love you, man. Love you too, man. You laid the groundwork. Yeah. The stream's fire. Another great one. Big up. Thank you. Yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm kind of tired now at this point, but it's pretty crazy. You got things that you can kind of look up, and then I'll just in the future I'll do like episode 2, and it'll be like about certain people, or I'll look more into like the specifics of if I can find like other Russian documents or anything like that. I didn't have enough time to really look into all that stuff, but what if it's just really good plastic surgery? Well, what if they just do plastic surgery to other people? Plastic surgery to move the tattoo off into someone else, like another position. Like, why would they move a tattoo from here and then it be gone for a little bit and then it be back? Why would their earlobe like detach and attach and attach and attach? There are certain things that are weird. Oh, like there's this one picture of Beyonce where it's like it's so weird. It's like her head is like stitched together. There's just a bunch of weird stuff, bro. That's what I do now. There's a bunch of weird stuff. Let me see if this is it. Real fast, I'll show you guys this one last little thing. And I'm like very against like obsessing over famous people or anything. You know what I'm saying? But It's not really about the people. It's not about some type of infatuation with the people. I don't see it. Doesn't matter. But yeah, something's going on here. It is what it is. It's like they put it right in front of you in all kinds of movies, just like they did with tons of other truth. And that doesn't make it for sure true, but it makes it interesting. And knowing that that's what happened before the flood, that makes it even more interesting. And then knowing that some guy that was just straight ladling gravy and exposing the government left and right for all kinds of things that were then proven to be true afterwards, made claims that no one had heard of, specific technological claims, and now have been verified that that technology does exist, and they're just now publicly admitting it. And while he was making those claims, he used those claims to say they map out brains, they use robots, they put organic material on top of them, they claim that they're said person, they look exactly like them or very close to them where no one really know the difference. They're very limited, but they're able to do a few things, but they can shut down and short circuit, and if they get too hot, they overheat, and they only last so long. And then we start looking at some of these famous celebs, and we look at what happens, some type of tragic accident, but then they miraculously survive, or they come back from it, and then they're totally different. Tattoos moving, face rearranged, eyes, eyebrows, ears, nose looking different, all moving around. And you just take all of it with a grain of salt. It's a preponderance of evidence, right? Because I'm never in those situations where I'm like, okay, his nose looks different, clone. I'm just like preponderance of evidence. Then they start acting crazy, acting weird, their behavior changes. Then they try to like reach out for help, and they claim like, I think I've been cloned. I think that my friend's been cloned. My father's been cloned. I was microchipped. Stop human cloning. I hope someone can relate. Please, someone else come and like agree, like speak out with me. All these crazy stuff of these famous people saying this stuff, and then they're talking and they just shut down like a robot, where they're just like talking. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's weird. And if you combine all of these things via the preponderance of evidence, something's going on here. And what it is, that's what you want to get to the bottom of. And the specifics are interesting, but the macro stays the same, which is the world's a stage. You got to unplug from the matrix. These people were being propped up and controlled. And at the least, they're being controlled via demonic possession and or MK Ultra and like some type of chip manipulation that interrupts neural exchanges within the brain. And you should understand that you definitely shouldn't you shouldn't like look up and idolize these people because they will easily deceive you. Thanks for the gravy, dude. No one breaks it down better. Thank you very much for the kind words, bro. Trash Panda Bear War Boy. Thank you for the support. Oh, I don't want to forget the Cash App people. How dare you? All right, let's see what we got here. Because I got some yesterday. Dave, thank you for the Cash App. Much love, brother. Lisa, thank you for the generous Cash App. Thank you for your good work. No problem, and thank you for the support. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Scott, thank you for the Cash App donation as well, brother. Much love. Thank you for the support. Dono bro. Javid, thank you for the Cash App. Cool stream, brother. Thank you, Jonathan, for the kind words and the Cash App. Sent you an email. All right, David, I'll try to check it out. I don't know exactly what the subject is. I have a lot of emails, but I'll try to find it. It might be a really long one. Then I opened it up. I haven't finished reading it. But thank you for the donation. And then keep up the good work. Thank you for the generous donation, Rory. Greatly appreciated on Cash App. I might have reread some that had been there for a while. I don't really know, but I do appreciate it. I don't see anything on PayPal. Maybe it's as Donald says, and it's their consciousness in a clone body. Like if there's some type of way that you could put like a brain chip in someone's brain and then some type of technology in someone else's brain, and the brain chip can act as a receiver where there's some type of wireless transmission, which is like super old technology, where you can experience something through like something else, that's interesting, right? I don't think that they can physically transfer consciousness. I don't think they can do that. I looked into that in depth, and no, to be able to fully intricately do that, they do not understand the brain that well. Or at least it's not publicly admitted that they understand the brain that well. Nothing on PayPal, so we're good. So yeah, that's what I think about that. I think that like to be able to fully transfer consciousness or anything like that, or upload a consciousness on a hard drive, like would be super limited. That's why this actually makes sense to me, because the guy that came out and said this, he was like, they're super like primitive and archaic. I'm not archaic, but like limited. So anyway, that's how I feel. In a world All right, I think I might just block you, bro. You see how easy it is to manipulate people and make yourself heard even if you don't have anything to say. Why clones and stuff when money works fantastically well. Okay. I've already explained money works, but it doesn't mean that you can actually ensure that they never step outside of the box, right? And so I've already explained way better arguments than you're making. The money works decently, but then people get to where they're like, I don't care, I want to say something, or something hits them so importantly, or say that they feel like they did something to their family members or whatever, where they get emotional and they respond where they're like, I don't care about the money. The better one would be like to have them, partake in something crazy, some type of ritual, see something crazy, do something to their family, threaten their family. Yes, that would keep people very complacent. None of those things explain the erratic behavior where they shut down, where they tweet that there are cloning centers. Please help us. There are cloning centers. I know about the cloning centers. I was forced to be microchipped as a child. My dad knew about it. Oh man, there are cloning centers. They are replicating. Oh, that person's not real. Hillary Clinton is alone. Famous people coming out and saying it, and then being taken out, then being declared crazy, going into mental hospitals, and then again, Kanye West giving and then all the truth in plain sight about something like this happening. When you have They Live, you have the Bruce Willis movie, and you could go on forever. All the music videos showing them being made in a lab. It's just interesting that it seems like they're trying to put that in front of you. And that's how revelation of the method works in natural law is if they told you what they're doing, then it doesn't matter. You got Kevin Hart straight up saying, I'm a clone. So you can come up with all kinds of normie excuses, but it's boring. It's actually very, very, very boring. Therefore, your opinion is irrelevant because I could just Google it, right? So like everyone here knows what like a baller like zealot thinks because they just want to use normie like ways to explain things away frantically because they have to be right and be the special boy. Well, that's cool. It's definitely your own prerogative, but I could just Google your opinion. So I can come up with better hand wave dismissals than you have because you just want to be a special boy, right? And you just want to tell everyone that they're wrong. So like no disrespect to the baller zealot, right? I don't need you to partake in the conversation though, because I can Google your opinion if I want it. And if all you have is normie explanations, I can Google it. I'm presenting it to those with eyes to see. I looked through a bunch of information. The normie explanations, the hand wave dismissal attempts don't cut it for me. Maybe they do for you. Congratulations. Go start your own live stream and tell people how you know for sure there's no such thing as like little creatures that they make like synthetic people. Go make sure you spread the word far and wide. Like to each their own. It doesn't make sense to me. There's something supernatural happening to these people that shut them down. They have a chip in their brain where they can send pulses and shut them down. They're using MK Ultra. Something like that's happening when you truly examine all the behavior. Okay, it's not money. Money doesn't make you just have your eyes abnormally wide. Money doesn't mean you just like shut down in the middle of talking and then come back, right? Money doesn't mean you have handlers walking around that say a certain word and then you turn and stare away. Money doesn't mean that you turn and look at some place in the air, looks like you're scared of it. And that happens to so many different celebrities where they're talking in an interview or talking somewhere and all of a sudden they act like they see something that scares them. Money doesn't explain any of that. Okay, so there's my take on that. And that is the last time I am responding to you. So anyway, and it's because I think it's important to address the idea. The idea is that there's no way there's anything to any of this. Or the question is, why do this when this will work perfectly fine? That's like, oh, we empirically falsified the claimed radius value of the globe, right? It can't be 3959 because based on the geometric necessity of this, look at this physical measurement, look at this laser test, look at this mirror flash, look at this long distance observation, look at this and this and this, look at the fact that everything has to assume that the Earth is stationary, and this actually wouldn't work if the Earth wasn't stationary. And someone's like, why would the Earth be, the globe works fine. Why would they have to lie? Why would they lie though? The flat Earth would be this, like, why would they lie? Well, I don't know. I'm just looking at the evidence first. I think that's a very, very remedial way to look at information. Until you think you can properly, fully, and entirely define the motivation or the use case, then it can't be true. All right, man. I mean, you might as well just never go look at anything. You are omnipotent. You know all things. I'm not into that. So, and I'm hoping not bringing too low of a vibration, right? Because it is what it is. So, hopefully you guys get my gist here. It's like, yo, in my opinion, there's something going on. This is just my channel. I give you my opinion. Like, trust me, I didn't just like, I'm not just like desperately looking for something to talk about. So I talk about clones. I have like a list of like 30 topics that I'm going to cover already for streams, right? It's just like, there's something about it. There's something about it that doesn't sit right with me. It seems like there's something up to it intuitively. So I follow my intuition to go then look into things, and pattern recognition is that something's going on. You can look into the earlier sources of information. They're just being more and more verified with specificity over time via technology and science. The claims that they made are seeming to come true. So to me, that seems crazy. Anyway, we'll cover some more of it in a while. So obviously I'll be chilled out on this for a second, you know, and we'll do like episode 2 a little bit later. So I got other stuff that I'll talk about, but anyway, yeah, cool. Like, if you disagree with me, that's okay. It's a good thing that this is my channel where I just give you interesting ideas. I try to ladle gravy so people can look into new things they haven't always looked into, right? I don't capitulate to random people on the internet, like just like everyone got triggered in my last stream. I mean, I guess that there should be a disclaimer. I'm not compliant to you. It's always the people that never support your channel or rally around you anyway. They're the loudest people that complain the most. So I should just completely ignore them. I guess I just like to really be like interactive and engage with people in the chat. And so it gets on my nerves because then I end up get caught up trying to like, I have good intentions and I'm like, oh, he really doesn't understand. Let me try and help out. And then they show their true colors. They're actually just here to try to be the special boys. And it's all good. I don't want to block everyone. I may have to change my tactic to an extent where I can't be super interactive with people in the chat with good faith because people will use it against you. And it is what it is. Your opinion on traveling to cloning center and sleep. Thank you for the super chat, Trash Panda Bear Warboy. I think that's a pretty crazy idea. So I don't know. I don't think that you're physically traveling anywhere. Could you consciously experience something outside of your body? Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like pretty much not even debatable, right? You can experience something outside of your physical limitation or location in your sleep. Could someone hijack that? I think you would have to give them permission to like the domain over your body. So I think that like a chip, you have to have like a chip in your brain or something for them to be able to like, you have to agree to it, right? I would think to some extent. I think they'd have to actually have a chip to hijack your REM sleep and then hijack your experience. And then you think that you're in this stuff. And then you start looking at a bunch of famous lyrics and songs and stuff. You'll actually be able to tell that they talk about like this whole different world, then they wake up. It's really crazy. I think that's one thing that was crazy about Donald Marshall to me is he claimed he wrote a bunch of these lyrics and then he points out certain songs you look at it and you're like, wow, like based on the story he's telling, these lyrics mean something totally different and they're really crazy. So it's a giant rabbit hole. I think that it's worth some attention. It's, you know, you shouldn't get hyper infatuated with it. Like you shouldn't just like, it shouldn't consume you because like, and some people aren't like ready for this. Some people aren't ready for like the potential implications of something like this. And if it's going to induce fear and you're going to be scared of it, then you shouldn't look into it. You're not ready for it and it's not going to change a ton. Like either way, you shouldn't trust any of these people on the world stage. This is a really long stream, but I guess I'm just trying to feel the need to explain some of this. It seems like people don't get why it's important, but yeah, just hopefully you guys enjoy the gravy. We're going to play a couple more of the videos and then I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, I guess as we get more people in here, we just have a whole lot more trolls. That's what we now have a bunch of trolls in the chat. It's crazy. I guess I just need it. That's my fault. That's my own responsibility to be able to like ignore them and not let them like pull some side of me out. That's lame to watch. So sorry. We'll play Kai's. We'll play Kai's and then I'll play my closing scene and we'll get out of here. I think Kai's is pretty fire. Make a Telegram chat. I already have one. t.me/WitsitGetsIt. So can we get more explanations of what's going on in movies like you did with The Matrix? Yeah, maybe. I'll have to pick out certain movies to do, but when I covered The Matrix, it was like really difficult because I couldn't show. I wanted to show certain scenes and like in short clips to explain them, and they just kept like taking me down over and over and over. It was like my most centered stream ever, probably. I do think I'm pretty good at breaking down streams though. Ron Diggity Prepper, thank you for the super chat. Much love. Okay, let's check it out. Like, if you watch real closely to some of the stuff in this video, it's actually pretty crazy. Like, the revelation of the method, right? That part's crazy. You can hear him breathing and stuff, man. Truth is in plain sight, is what it says. So Kai did pretty good editing that. I think it's cool. So, all right, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Like, sorry, I gave too much energy to the trolls. They just like suck my energy. Honestly, I don't know why I address them. Like, I'm starting to contemplate. I'll think about it and maybe even pray about like what I should do, because I wanted this place to be a place that new people can come and ask genuine questions and stuff. But so I'm not gonna like create an echo chamber. I don't like that. But at the same time, it's quality over quantity, right? Like, we've been super censored. We've just kind of like glitched it out a little bit recently, where we're getting a few more viewers. But like, I'm super censored. I was censored before I ever uploaded a video on here, and like literally, like before I ever uploaded a video, because like my first 1,000 subs were all from Globebusters, and so I was just like blacklisted from the jump. And you could tell I was super censored. I'd do lives that go black. In the middle of it, I'm just like talking on my phone with like full bars or like full great service and stuff like that. And I've just been messed with a lot since the beginning. This channel is super censored. I saw hundreds and hundreds of subscribers happen one night, and then none of them updated to my sub count. My sub count didn't change. So same thing I did at Jaren, right? He hit 150. It hasn't gone up since then in years, right? Like, they're clearly shadow banning and censoring us. And so it's quality over quantity at this point. We want like very uplifting, open-minded conversation. No, you don't have to always agree with me. Yes, I would like you to voice your disagreement. That's cool. But I guess it's just like the way that people talk. It's annoying. And I used to think like Owen Benjamin like banning people was hilarious, but I used to think like, I don't know if I would ever do that, because I like to kind of have, I like to have the other side, the other ideas, right? As long as they're respectful. So I'll have to think about the best way to do this going forward, because like I think sometimes the gamma males need to be timed out. You know, they need to be shown like, no, you don't act like a gamma male here. Like, we're trying to elevate you. You know, I know that you've convinced yourself via like illusory protection behind your keyboard that you're able to act all tough and talk crazy to everybody, but the real world's not like that, and maybe you shouldn't be able to partake in all the gravy because you're killing the vibe. But actually, I apologize to anyone that kind of got tired of me like addressing it, because I have responsibility not to do that, so that's my apologies. Anyway, we'll stop dwelling on it. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'll figure out what I think I'm going to do with that. I do think that some of my mods get ban happy sometimes because they're like, oh no, baller, ban them or something, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I'll have to think of the best thing to do with, should I decrease the amount of mods? Do I have to have like a mod meeting or something? Like, you know, yeah, we'll figure it out. But we're just going to increase... we're going to increase the value and productivity of everything. So I heard the guy talking about Telegram. I have a channel. I don't know if that's interactive, like a chat. I might have to start a chat. So I'll work on the Telegram thing and get it all put together. I'm having to try to put the music together, which is obviously very time consuming for anyone that knows how they have to put music. I'm still just trying to find a good beat. And then I have to play the beat and then come up with lyrics to it, then lay it. So we're working on that. And we got a bunch of cool streams coming, cool interviews, cool debates and stuff. So should be cool. Just stay tuned. Lots of great. I think a lot of people really like the different subject type of approach. If you want to support the channel, you can go become a Patreon at patreon.com/WitsitGetsIt. Any type of residual support really helps me out. Like actually, like if every sub just gave me like a $1 a month, I'd be perfectly fine, right? Like just if half the subs would give me $1 a month, which means like if some people would just agree to give me $5 or $10 a month because they like the channel and want to support it, then we'd be good. So yeah, general sentiment, right? Support what you like or it goes away. But you can also support the stream just by liking and sharing and offering valuable, consistent input, and that's cool, bro. Like my content will always be free. There will be some of it that's not, just so I can try to make this work, but my live streams will always be free. I do this to try to raise awareness. If you want to support the channel, you can go to WitsitGetsIt.live. You can also keep up with the channel there, and you can go to the top right drop-down menu to kind of have a one-stop shop. So the Telegram groups and everything is there. That's the best place to go. WitsitGetsIt.live, and you can go to the drop-down menu in the top right. It'll show you like all the different links to different places that you can reach me. If you want to contact me, WitsitGetsIt@gmail.com or Witsit@protonmail.com. And if you want to support financially, you can send money through Cash App, $WitsitGetsIt. On Cash App, you can go to paypal.me/innerworld. You can become a Patreon at patreon.com/WitsitGetsIt. You can also click the join button down below. If you watch the stream after it was live and then you want to support via this stream, you can actually hit the thanks button and drop a little bit of a thanks. And all of that is greatly appreciated in advance. So seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So, informed people don't care what ignorant people think. And sometimes you have to be able to entertain thoughts without fully believing them, so that you can get down to the bottom of what's going on. And oftentimes the truth seems, stranger than fiction at first, and you find out it's actually the only logically coherent or consistent take on the situation. And a lot of the deceptions have basically been cast onto us underneath this like combination effort of propaganda to make it look crazy. And it's a very efficient method. And a lot of times they put the truth in plain sight, but they put it in, they give you lies in the news, and people think the news is credible. And if you're like, wait, you're showing me as evidence, you're showing me something in a movie or a TV show, you're crazy. And so it works very well. And so it's just, I stop watching porn, try to maybe like drink clean water, occasionally fast, like have control over how much food you eat, get outside if you need to, and walk around without your shoes off. But the most important thing really is to pray. Like even just in your head all the time. Like seriously, like talk to the Creator. I'm not pushing a religion on you. It's my belief that the Creator hates like really dogmatic religion. Now I would say that the scriptures are true. They've been messed with, and that Yahuwah is the Father and the Messiah is Yahusha. And I would say that is for sure as I have seen it. But either way, I think that these are the biggest things that are going to help you with your pattern recognition, is to ask the Creator of all things. There is a creative, coherent force much bigger than you. That's omnipotent and omnipresent, right? It's the only way things could even be here. And ask him for wisdom and discernment and for pattern recognition and for the humility to admit when maybe you were wrong. And if I end up figuring out that I think this is bunk or anything like that, I'll come tell you, look, I think it's wrong. And I think that that's the biggest, most important thing, is to always be able to update what you think. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Just keep speaking the truth no matter what happens. Whenever they revile you for the truth's sake, rejoice. They did that to all the prophets before you. That's what's always going to happen. It's actually kind of a sign that you're on the right path. and what's popular isn't true, and what's always true, or what's true isn't always popular. It just kind of comes with the territory. So anyways, until next time, I'll catch up with you guys maybe tomorrow night. Peace out.
That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl, somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick. With a forceful grip, they force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature, that mean extorted it. They forging it, if news anchors informants who informing them. There's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this, we porting ships important. Yes, of course it is, but extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?